Chapter 45. That's right. Jun Changshao said, I was the one who beat up your family's direct descendant. Ai Shangke's face darkened, his eyes filled with anger. He had been out of town for the past 2 days. Last night, he received a messenger pigeon from his family saying that Ai Shi was beaten up, so he hurried over. He didn't know much about the details. If it was an iron-bone disciple who beat him up, Ai Shangke could understand. After all, young people were hot-blooded, and conflicts were inevitable. But a sect leader, wasn't he afraid of losing his status? That's right, that's right. A sect leader of a trash sect, as lowly as dust, it would be strange if he cared about his status. Thinking of this, the disdain in Ai Shangke's eyes deepened. Sect leader Jun, as a sect leader, you beat up my Ai family's direct descendant, isn't that a bit too much? Jun Changshao shrugged, your family's direct descendant brought people to beat up my sect's disciple, and they even came to my doorstep. How is it too much for me to teach them a lesson? The person who stole my Ai family's pills is your iron-bone disciple? Ai Shangke's face darkened. Jun Changshao said, that's right. Ai Shangke said coldly, sect leader Jun, your family's disciple stole my family's pills, and my direct descendant was beaten up by you. That's 2 debts. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Elder Ai, are you here to settle your debts? Jun Changshao's face was still smiling, looking a bit like he was asking for a beating. If there weren't any side missions, he might have tried to reason with the other party and resolve their grudges. But now, he could only accept life and death, and fight if he didn't accept it. Ai Shangke said indifferently, sect leader Jun, you hurt my family's direct descendant and stole my pills, you have to give me an explanation. Sure. Jun Changshao threw a tael of silver, this is your compensation, and the grudges between my sect and your family are settled. Ai Shangke didn't catch it, letting the silver fall to his feet. His eyes were cold. Sect leader Jun, are you humiliating me and my Ai family? A tael of silver was not a small amount for the poor, but the Ai family's elders didn't care about it. Jun Changshao throwing it over was a naked humiliation. I am sincerely giving you an explanation. If you insist on feeling humiliated, then there's nothing I can do. Jun Changshao spread out his hands to express his helplessness. He looked even more annoying than before. Ai Shangke could no longer suppress his anger and said coldly, for the sake of the 100 Sect Alliance, I will call you Sect Master Jun. Don't think too highly of yourself. Cut the crap. Jun Changshao said faintly, do you want to fight? Ai Shangke was, after all, an elder of the Ai family. He cupped his fists gracefully and said, I've heard that Sect Master Jun had defeated an elder of the Spirit Spring sect in Green Sun City. Ai Shangke, would really like to experience it. Come on then, Jun Changshao said. Ai Shangke smiled faintly and said, this is not a place to spar. Why don't we enter your sect's training ground and compete? Is this guy trying to teach me a lesson in front of the sect disciples? Jun Changshao guessed his thoughts, but he still turned to the side and raised his hand, saying, please. So, he didn't want that tael of silver? On the training ground. Jun Changshao and Ai Shangke stood 10 feet apart, staring at each other. The atmosphere was tense. That guy is an elder of the Ai family? From the aura he's emitting, he should be a martial disciple. Outside the training ground, the disciples who didn't do any missions were discussing in low voices, their eyes filled with fear. Although martial disciple is only the 2nd stage of the falling star continent, it's nothing in front of stronger cultivators. But in the eyes of those in the channel opening stage, it's a colossus. Can Sect Master defeat him? The bandits of the Black Mountain, along with the martial disciple leader, were all killed by Sect Master. Defeating him is definitely not a problem. Not bad, not bad. Everyone was relieved. Ai Shangke heard their discussion and said with a startled expression, the bandits of the Black Mountain were killed by you? Is there a problem? Jun Changshao said. There's a problem, a big problem. A while ago, the government and the martial artists of the various sects gathered their forces and decided to attack the Black Wind stronghold again. The result? When they went up, they found that the stronghold was burned to ashes. The training ground was littered with over 200 rotting corpses. At that moment, everyone was dumbfounded. After a long time, they realized that the Black Wind stronghold had been completely destroyed. In a short time, the news of the bandits' annihilation spread throughout the Azure Sun County, causing a huge commotion. The people of various cities and towns all rushed to spread the news and celebrated on the streets. It could be said that the whole world was celebrating. Everyone was also competing to discuss who eliminated the Black Wind stronghold that had been a disaster for many years. Some martial artists guessed that it might be a big power, but they rejected it in the end because the government and the various sects had verified that no large number of people had appeared in the vicinity of the Black Mountain in the past few months. Whether it was done by one person or a few people, it was all concluded. In just a few days, there were many versions of rumors. For example, a powerful cultivator passed by the Black Mountain and killed all the bandits with a thought. Another said that the Black Wind stronghold had done many evil things and angered the heavens, so they sent immortals down to the mortal world to kill them. Various versions of the news spread wildly in the Azure Sun County, becoming the topic of conversation for many martial artists and ordinary people. After the Azure Sun City Lord learned that the bandits had been annihilated, he spread out a notice, hoping that the righteous person who helped the people would appear and receive 1,000 taels of gold as a gift. 1 tael of gold was equivalent to 10 taels of silver. 1,000 taels of gold was equivalent to 10,000 taels of silver. Many martial artists were blinded by money and took the risk of pretending to be righteous to claim the reward. In the end, they were all seen through and thrown into jail. The news of the Black Wind stronghold being annihilated was very big. Naturally, Ai Shanka had heard of it and even discussed it with the elders of the tribe. He believed that the person who could kill his way into the Black Wind stronghold and annihilate it must be at least a martial master. But now, the Iron Bone disciples actually said that their sect master was the one who annihilated it. Ai Shanka said indifferently, "Sect Master June, you really dare to say that you did something like annihilating the bandits? Could it be that you also have the intention of falsely claiming the reward of 1,000 taels of gold?" As long as one had a normal mind, they would not believe that Jun Changshao, who was only at the Meridian Opening Realm, could annihilate the Black Wind stronghold, which was easy to defend and hard to attack. Falsely claiming 1,000 taels of gold? Jun Changshao said, "What do you mean?" Ai Shanka said indifferently, "Sect Master Jun, we are all sensible people. You don't have to pretend." Jun Changshao was speechless. What the hell am I pretending for? However, as smart as he was, he quickly guessed that the news of annihilating the bandits must have spread. The so-called 1,000 taels of gold might be the reward given by the government. I have to find time to go to Qingyang City and take a look. Jun Changshao needed to develop the sect. Although the system could provide a lot of help, money was also important. The more, the better. Shwa! Ai Shanka waved his hand and a 3-feet-long sword appeared in his hand. He said indifferently, "I heard that Sect Master Jun has a high-quality sword. I would like to see it for myself." The body of his sword was engraved with a lifelike dragon beast. The blade emitted a sharp aura. With one look, one could tell that the quality was not low. "As you wish." Jun Changshao waved his hand and the low-grade cold-edged sword appeared. A faint chill immediately spread through the martial arts field. "Good sword. Not as cheap as you." Chapter 46. Ai Shanka was also a sword cultivator. He could tell at a glance that the quality of Jun Changshao's cold-edged sword was extraordinary. So he said lightly, "It's really a waste for this sword to be in your hands. Give it to me, and we'll forget about it." Ai Shanka thought it was okay to let go of Iron Bone for a sword. "Give it to you." Jun Changshao said, "Is there something wrong with your head?" Ai Shanka's deep eyes flashed a trace of coldness, and a white wave of air suddenly appeared around him. After becoming a martial disciple, a warrior would gather spiritual energy in his dantian. Once it was stimulated, it would explode with momentum, which was called spiritual power. Feeling it at a close distance, Jun Changshao said to himself, "This guy is much stronger than that bandit leader. It's a bit tricky." He had killed Zhou Tianba, who was a martial disciple, with the help of Hard to Stop. Now that his weapon was sealed again, it seemed very difficult to kill him with only the elementary cold-edge sword. What's more, the opponent's weapon was obviously stronger than Wei Yinu's. His cultivation was not as good as his, and his equipment was not good enough. How could he fight? Should he use the system? Forget it, forget it. I only have 24 contribution points. I'd better use them sparingly. Jun Changshao's mind went into the space ring and summoned the speed talisman given by the novice gift package. He said to himself, among all the martial arts in the world, only speed is invincible. I should be able to deal with him. Crack. The talisman was crushed. In an instant, a special energy flowed into Jun Changshao's legs, giving him the urge to run away. He smiled and said, "I feel the power of the wind, boy." Ai Shanka said coldly, "Are you ready?" Jun Changshao raised his sword and said, "Come on." Swish! As soon as he finished speaking, Ai Shanka stepped forward and waved his right wrist. The 3-foot-long sword cut through the void, forming a stream of sword chi, close to the ground to disturb. Whoosh! In an instant, the sword momentum filled the air. The Iron Bone disciples in the distance were shocked when they saw this. Everyone looked at Jun Changshao, but they saw that he was still standing in the same place with a calm smile on his face. Could it be that the sect leader was going to use the golden bell shield and iron skin technique? Aren't you going to dodge? Ai Shanka sneered. Although this sword strike was played down, the force behind it was still several thousand kilograms. If he didn't dodge it, he would definitely end up in a miserable state. Swish! At this moment, the sword chi that shot out directly slashed through Jun Changshao's body, cutting him in half. Sect leader! The disciples exclaimed in unison. Ai Shanka was also dumbfounded. His casual attack had split the Iron Bone sect's leader in half. What a piece of trash! You can't even take a single strike from my sword, no, no. His body had been slashed open, but why was there no blood spurting out? The Iron Bone disciples also realized this problem. Soon, they realized that the sect leader's body was suddenly distorted, and then gradually disappeared. What was going on? Phantom? Aishank frowned. Hey! Suddenly, a voice came from behind, "I'm here." Shwa! Ai Shanka hurriedly turned around and saw Jun Changshao standing behind him with his hands behind his back, looking at him with a smile. He couldn't calm down and exclaimed, "How did you get there?" The Iron Bone disciples saw that their sect leader was safe and sound and heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, they were puzzled. He was clearly standing in front, so how did he run to the back in the blink of an eye? "I walked over," Jun Changshao said. "Impossible." Ai Shanka said, "You must have used some kind of evil illusion." Jun Changshao touched his nose and smiled, "Open your eyes wider, I'll walk again to show you." Swish! As soon as he finished speaking, he stood still in the same place, but a voice came from behind, "Did you see it clearly?" Ai Shanka hurriedly turned around and found that Jun Changshao had appeared in the same position as before, and his expression was completely frozen. Oh my God! The Iron Bone disciples' eyes widened. In their vision, they saw 2 identical sect leaders standing on the left and right, sandwiching the AI family elder in the middle. After a while, the one on the left gradually dissipated. Ai Shanka said in shock, What kind of sorcery did you use?" Jun Changshao shook his head and said, "This is not a sorcery, it's a footwork, called Phantom Steps." Phantom Steps? Ai Shanka had never heard of it before, but from the name, he seemed to remember something, and said in disbelief, "The illusion just now was because the speed was too fast." Smart. Jun Changshao said. Although he said so, he was also shocked in his heart. This speed talisman is too fast, so fast that even if I change my position, my figure won't be able to dissipate in time. Impossible, impossible. AI Shanka couldn't believe it. After all, it was so fast that he couldn't see it, so fast that it was an illusion. This was simply too shocking. Swish! Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. Jun Changshao stood in front of him, and there were still illusions behind him, and said, "Did you see it clearly this time? How did Sect leader go over? I can't see it at all. The speed is too fast, so fast that we can't even catch the movement with our eyes. Sect leader is mighty." All the disciples shouted in admiration. Damn it! AI Shanka angrily slashed with his sword, but it still hit the illusion. Jun Changshao was already standing on the right side. In the world of martial arts, only speed was unbeatable. However, when it reached his level, it was completely beyond the comprehension of a martial disciple. Swish! 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 Jun Changshao kept changing his position, and in a breath's time, more than 10 illusions appeared in AI Shanka's vision. Obviously, the appearance of each illusion meant that Jun Changshao had been here and stayed for a short time. As for the process, he couldn't see it at all. The bald head of the Black Wind stronghold practiced the 7 steps shadow transformation, but when he used it, he could still see the shadow and roughly grasp the position. The muscles on AI Shanka's face gradually stiffened, and the hand holding the sword began to tremble. If he couldn't even see the person clearly, how could he fight? Bang! Suddenly, Jun Changshao appeared behind him and kicked his butt. This kick contained at least 1,000 pounds of force, and AI Shanka, who was caught off guard, staggered a few steps forward and almost fell to the ground. Puha! The disciples couldn't help but laugh. After all, he was an elder, and being kicked in the butt by the sect leader was really funny. Damn it! AI Shanka stabilized his body, feeling ashamed and angry. He then raised his sword and slashed in the air, instantly forming a powerful sword chi. Swish! Swish! Jun Changshao calmly stepped forward, dodging from the left and the right, and illusions appeared one after another. Under the support of the speed talisman, the powerful sword chi seemed to have slowed down. Even if it covered the entire martial arts field and formed an inescapable net, he could still easily avoid it. Bang! Jun Changshao kicked from behind again, hitting AI Shanka's other butt. Although it didn't cause any substantial damage, it made the opponent go crazy. Ah! He roared loudly. Hissed suddenly, the robe on his body was torn, and he was only left with a pair of white underpants. Jun Changshao stood in front of him, the tip of his sword holding a lock of hair, and smiled. Elder AI, do you think it's necessary to continue fighting? Chapter 47. Jun Changshao's speed was too fast, so fast that AI Shanka's clothes were cut open without him noticing. With a roar, his muscles expanded and exploded. Even worse, there was a strand of hair on Han Feng's sword. What did this mean? It meant that if he wanted to kill, he would have slashed AI Shanka's neck. AI Shanka's cultivation was strong, but it was not strong enough to fight against a sword with his body. Moreover, Jun Changshao's strength was not weak either. Taking AI Shanka's head with his high speed would be child's play. AI Shanka stood in place in his white underpants. His face was stiff and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. His eyes were filled with fear. The moment a strand of hair was cut off, he felt the aura of death. It was very real and very terrifying. If AI Shanka wanted to kill him, his head would have been separated from his body. The more he thought about it, the more scared he became. AI Shanka's hand loosened and the sword with a dragon pattern fell on the stone floor. Hey! Jun Changshao asked, do you still want to fight? AI Shanka's hands trembled. He suppressed his fear and said, no, no. With such unimaginable speed, even if he had 10 guts, he would not dare to fight. Ding! Side mission completed. Host receives 50 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 74,100. 50 points. Jun Changshao was flabbergasted. So much? The system said, the AI clan elder is a 5th grade martial disciple. Host defeating him will naturally give you a lot of contribution points. Jun Changshao thought, so he is a 5th grade martial disciple. After the meridian opening stage, there was a more detailed division. From low to high, there was a 9th grade, and after the 9th grade was the peak. For example, at Sung Mountain Sect's elder Ma was a peak martial master. With one more step, he would break through to Wuzong. Another example was the leader of Hafen Gang who was killed. He was only a 2nd grade martial disciple. The AI clan was not a traditional martial arts family. They mainly sold pills in Huyang City. AI Shangke being a 5th grade martial disciple was already very good. Elder AI. Jun Changshao said, you should have spare clothes in your spatial ring, right? Ace Hank, who had gradually calmed down, only then did he realize that he was still naked. His old face turned red as he hurriedly took out a set of clothes and put them on. He then put away his sword and cupped his fists, many thanks to Sect Master Jun for showing mercy. The arrogance and disdain in his eyes had completely vanished. Jun Changshao said, Elder AI, my disciple stole your medicinal pills. As the leader of a sect, I am also at fault. The mission had been completed, and the contribution points had been obtained. Naturally, there was a need to ease the atmosphere. After all, the sect was still developing, and there was no benefit in making enemies everywhere. But Jun Changshao said, my disciple was also beaten half to death by the AI family's young master. In my opinion, why don't we turn big problems into small ones and small ones into nothing? As the victor, he took the initiative to ask for peace, giving AI Shangke a way out. AI Shangke also went with the flow and said, young people are hot-blooded, fighting is normal. My AI family won't mind. After being beaten up, his attitude immediately changed. This was the true portrayal of a hard fist. Jun Changshao said, Elder AI came from afar, so I will naturally be a good host. Please come to the main hall and have a seat. His clothes were torn, how could he have the face to stay? AI Shangke cupped his hands and said, I still have things to deal with. I will visit another day. Jun Changshao didn't say anything and personally sent him to the door. He cupped his hands and said, Elder AI, I will see you here. Goodbye. AI Shangke left. However, on the way down the mountain, he was still in shock and said, I didn't expect the Iron Bones sect master to be so secretive. I have to go back and tell the family head not to provoke him easily. AI Shangke didn't doubt that with Jun Changshao's terrifying speed just now, killing a martial master would be as easy as flipping his hand. Sect master, you are too powerful. The phantom steps you used just now was simply amazing. Sect master, is this the same as the I Jin Jing? It is also a divine martial skill. When Jun Changshao returned to the sect, the disciples swarmed around him. Especially when they thought of the scene of him beating Elder AI just now, their eyes were filled with worship. Jun Changshao said, cultivate well. In the future, I will teach you this kind of footwork one by one. Wow, the sect master will teach us the phantom steps. We must work hard to become stronger and not disappoint the sect master. Let's go and cultivate. The disciples were enthusiastic, and the blood in their bodies was burning. To be honest, in just a short month, Jun Changshao had an irreplaceable position in their hearts. If an outsider came to rope them in, they wouldn't betray him even if they joined a higher sect. This was what Jun Changshao was most happy to see, because he didn't care about the aptitude of the disciples. He only cared about being loyal to himself and the sect. In the main hall, Jun Changshao sat on a chair, stretched lazily, and said with a smile, I earned 50 contribution points, my whole body feels good. Ding! Su Xiaoma has found the lost Xiao Huang, the sect's mission has been completed. Ding! Sect achievement points, 2,100. Sect contribution points, 76100. After hearing the notification, Jun Changxiao's smile became even wider. Not bad, not bad, to be able to complete the mission so quickly, I didn't misjudge you. Ding! Sect mission completed, disciples' contribution points have been unlocked. Jun Changxiao said, disciples also have contribution points? Opening the Sect system data panel, he saw, Sect members, 100,100, followed by the words click on details. He clicked on it. A small data panel appeared. On it were the names of many disciples, only Su Xiaoma's name was written with the words 2 contribution points. Jun Changxiao said, what does this mean? The system said, disciple will receive the corresponding contribution points after completing the Sect's mission. Host can use them to buy items in the store. Hearing this, Jun Changxiao jumped up and said with joy, there's such a good thing. He would receive contribution points for completing the Sect's mission, and the disciple would also receive contribution points for completing the Sect's mission. Wasn't this a double benefit? The system said, disciples' contribution points can only be used by disciples, the host can only buy for them. Hearing this, Sect leader Jun collapsed on the chair and said, please, next time can you finish the sentence? Yes. The system said. Jun Changxiao said, you mean to say that disciples and I can use the Sect store? It can't be used. The system said, disciple has a dedicated store, host can open it to check. Jun Changxiao hurriedly opened the store. Sure enough, under the beginner's store, there was a disciple store button. Opening it, he found that there were many items, most of them were beginner level, and the price was basically 1 contribution point. Fuck! Jun Changxiao collapsed, why are the items in the disciple store cheaper than mine? The system said, because you are the host, there are many ways to obtain contribution points, but disciples can only obtain them by completing Sect missions. So it's like that. Jun Changxiao understood. He randomly selected an item to look at, but from the introduction, he didn't find anything special. Compared to his own store, it was obviously a few grades worse. The system said, the items in the disciple store are mostly support items, host store is a collection of great achievements. Chapter 48. Although the goods in the newly opened Disciples Marketplace were cheaper than those in the Beginner's Marketplace, their effects were not as satisfactory. For example, there was an item called Qi Gathering Elixir, which was only one word different from Qi Gathering Elixir, but it only provided twice the absorption effect and lasted for 12 hours. So many of them have been castrated. Jun Changxiao shook his head and continued to look at the goods. Soon, he found a weapon called Beginner Grade Wooden Sword, and was speechless. Wooden sword? That's too shabby. However, when he thought of the strength of the Beginner Grade Cold Edge Sword, he concluded that although this sword was made of wood, its power should be comparable to the low-grade and mid-grade weapons of the Falling Star continent. Jun Changxiao looked at a few more goods, and found that most of them were useless, so he bought the Qi Gathering Elixir and the Beginner Grade Wooden Sword. When the items appeared in the space ring, Su Xiaoma's contribution points were instantly cleared to 0. Why is there no notification sound? Jun Changxiao asked. The system said, the disciples' purchase notifications are blocked by default. If the host likes to hear the ding-ding sound, it can be activated. Continue to block it by default. Jun Changxiao naturally did not want to have to receive notifications for everything, it would be very annoying. Right, can I block the notification sound of my purchase? The host does not have a blocking function for now. For now. Jun Changxiao asked, what do you mean? The system said, the higher the host's realm and the level of the sect's construction, the more functions the system will have. Jun Changxiao said, if I become stronger, you will become stronger too. You can think of it that way. The system said. Jun Changxiao thought carefully and said fearfully, if I fatten you up, you won't plot against me one day, right? The system said, if the host dies, the system dies. I see. Jun Changxiao relaxed and said, how much effect of the haste talisman left? 45 minutes. The system said. Jun Changxiao rubbed his chin and said, I can use the remaining time to go to Qingyang City and see the so-called reward of 1,000 taels of gold. Tian Qi. Present. I'm going out for a trip, train them well. Yes. There wasn't much time left for the speed talisman, so Jun Changshao didn't waste any time. He walked out of the Iron Bone Sect's gate and stood still. After a while, his figure gradually disappeared. This guy's speed was really fast. In the blink of an eye, he appeared at the foot of the mountain. It's simply a must-have item for traveling as a monk. It's a pity that the store doesn't sell them. Otherwise, I'd buy a few more for backup. While speaking, Jun Changshao had already disappeared from where he stood, rushing towards the direction of Green Sun City. In the wilderness, a woman leaned against a tree and said shyly, "Brotherly, don't mess around. What if someone sees us?" The young man called Brotherly leaned over and touched her face with one hand. He smiled and said, "Mimi, there's no one around here. We won't be discovered. I haven't seen you for a few days. I miss you so much that I can't eat." "Ah." The woman lowered her head and said in a voice as soft as a mosquito, "Me too." The two couples gradually hugged each other and kissed passionately. It was as if time had stopped. However, the girl called Mimi inadvertently glanced up and suddenly saw a young man squatting on the tree, grinning at her. "Ah!" A scream came from the wilderness. "Mimi, what's wrong?" Brotherly hurriedly asked. The younger sister pointed at the tree and said in a panic, There's someone on the tree." Brotherly hurriedly looked and immediately saw the young man. Jun Changshao scratched his head awkwardly and said, "Sorry to disturb you too." Brotherly said angrily, "Who are you? When did you come?" Before he could finish, the person on the tree gradually disappeared. He was so scared that he fell to the ground and said in horror, "Oh my God, there's a ghost." Without caring about anything else, he pulled Mimi and ran to the village in a panic. Jun Changshao stopped outside the wilderness. Seeing that the man did not forget to pull the woman away in fright, he said, "You two should be a couple who truly love each other. I wish you two to be united forever and grow old together." Sigh. Thinking that she was still single, she couldn't help but feel sad. "I'll be 18 in a month. When can I stop being single?" Coming to a different world, developing a sect was a boring process. It would be good to experience the feeling of love. Lu Chanchan. Forget it. This woman has a story. It's better not to ask for a rebuff. Qingyang City. Jun Changshao stopped in front of the city gate. It only took him 5 minutes to get here from Iron Bone City, and this was because he was greedy for the scenery on the way. Otherwise, it would have been faster at full speed. Why is there another person? It's sect leader Iron Bone. Why is he here? The martial artists coming in and out of the city gate recognized Jun Changshao at a glance. Sect leader Jun, a martial artist, hurried over and said with a smile, "I have a martial arts problem. I'm willing to pay 200 taels. I hope, no time." Jun Changshao stepped into the city. It has to be said that since the recruitment of numerous sects, he has become a little famous in Qingyang City. After entering the city, he immediately attracted the attention of many people. Jun Changshao ignored them and locked his eyes on the sign at the crossroads. His eyes suddenly lit up. The words written above were in classical Chinese. The translated meaning was that the city lord was very grateful to the righteous man for destroying the Black Wind stronghold. He was willing to give 1,000 taels of gold and go to the city lord's mansion to receive the reward. Tsk tisk. Jun Changshao said, "I didn't expect that after destroying the Black Wind stronghold, there would be a reward of 1,000 taels of gold." Gah! The street was silent. Jun Changshao felt that something was wrong. Turning his head, he saw that the nearby vendors, passers-by, and martial artists were all looking at him with a look of disbelief. A martial artist was the first to recover. "Sect leader Jun, did you destroy the Black Wind stronghold?" "Yes." Jun Changshao said truthfully. The corners of everyone's mouth twitched. Previously, in the martial arts arena, the martial artists in the city believed that the Iron-Bones sect leader was relying on the high quality of his weapon. Destroy the Black Wind stronghold? Absolute nonsense. Hey! Jun Changshao said, where is the city lord's mansion? The martial artist said weakly, sect leader Jun is going to receive the reward. Jun Changshao pointed to the sign. Doesn't it say that whoever destroys the Black Wind stronghold can receive the reward? The martial artist lowered his voice. Sect leader Jun, pretending to be a righteous man to receive the reward, the lightest punishment is being thrown into prison, the heaviest punishment is losing your head. Pretend my ass. Jun Changshao said, the Black Wind stronghold was destroyed by this king. Sigh. The martial artist shook his head. Another one blinded by money. The passers-by and common people around also shook their heads. They believed that the Iron-Bones sect leader must be crazy for money, so he took the risk to pretend to be a righteous man. Jun Changshao was speechless. It seemed that he had done something for the sake of the people. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it. They were still too weak. If it were the Blue Mountain sect leader, as long as he stood in front of the sign, everyone would believe that he was the one who destroyed the Black Wind stronghold. Sect leader Jun. A shout came from the left, and Li Qingyang's father, Patriarch Li, walked over. He smiled and cupped his hands. How come you have time to come to Blue Sun City? After not seeing him for a month, Patriarch Li's aura had changed. He must have benefited from the guidance and his realm had improved a lot. Jun Changshao said, Patriarch Li, you came at the right time. Take me to the city lord's mansion. Patriarch Li was stunned. Sect leader Jun, why are you going to the city lord's mansion? To receive the reward. Jun Changshao said. Gah! The smile on Patriarch Li's face froze. After a while, the corner of his mouth twitched. Sect leader Jun, don't tell me that the Black Wind stronghold is, that's right. Jun Changshao said angrily. The Black Wind stronghold was destroyed by this king. Whether you believe it or not, take me to the city lord's mansion first. P.S. Children's Boots, don't forget to vote for me after you read it. Chapter 49. Sect leader Jun, you can't speak carelessly. You can't just pretend to be a righteous person. Sect leader Jun, there have been many people pretending to be righteous people these days. Without exception, they were all investigated and locked up in jail. Some even lost their heads. Sect leader Jun, listen to my advice. Go back and don't go to the city lord's mansion anymore. Ta! Jun Changshao stopped and said in a deep voice, Li family head, I will repeat myself. I was the one who destroyed the Black Wind stockade. Li family head said, let's not talk about the strength of the Black Wind stockade's leader. How could sect leader Jun kill his way in? Jun Changshao was silent. No matter how he explained, he wouldn't be convinced. Why waste his breath? Li family head said, sect leader Jun, if you want to get 1,000 taels of gold, you must show proof that you destroyed the Black Wind stockade. Otherwise, if you go to the city lord's mansion rashly, it will be very disadvantageous for you. This was a sincere attempt to persuade him. Moreover, he received news that the city lord was in a bad mood because of people pretending to be him. If sect leader Jun went there, he would definitely be in trouble. Yes. How can I prove that I destroyed it? Jun Changshao thought. After a while, his eyes gradually lit up and he said, Li family head, I will show you the evidence. What evidence? Don't ask, just lead the way. Seeing him so confident, Li family head hesitated and thought, could it be that he really destroyed the Black Wind stockade? Impossible, impossible, this is too inconceivable. The city lord's mansion was actually at the east end of the largest main street in Qingyang City. It was quite a magnificent mansion. There were 2 stone lions squatting on the left and right of the gate. Sect leader Jun, let's go back. Li family head brought Jun Changshao over and tried to persuade him. Jun Changshao was too lazy to pay attention to him and strode towards the gate of the city lord's mansion. Stop! A guard with a sword raised his hand and shouted, "Who are you?" Jun Changshao stood with his hands behind his back and said, "Please report to the city master that the leader of the Iron Bone Upright sect has come to visit." Li family head, who was standing in the distance, was relieved when he heard Jun Imo Xie's words. Sect leader Jun didn't say anything about the reward. It seems that he was just joking. That's right. He had never insisted on pretending to be the leader of a sect. This was not only cheating, but also lowering his status. Are you the Iron Bone sect leader? A mocking smile appeared at the corner of the guard's mouth. He said, "The city lord has a rule that he will not meet any sects below the 8th rate unless there is a summons." Jun Changshao frowned slightly. Even a gatekeeper was so arrogant. The world was really cruel. Schwa! He unfolded the notice and said indifferently, "Tell the city lord that Jun is here to collect his reward." The Li family head asked in shock, "When did Sect Master Jun take down the notice?" He didn't see it, and neither did the martial artists at the crossroads. It was only after Jun Changshao left that they realized that the notice was gone. The guard said in disbelief, "You destroyed the Black Wind Stockade? Don't talk nonsense." Jun Changshao said indifferently, "Hurry up and report it." The guard sneered, "Kid, you have to think carefully. If I report it, you will be imprisoned. Don't worry about it." Jun Changshao said indifferently. The guard shook his head and said, "It's pardonable for a cat or a dog to pretend to be a sect leader. A dignified sect leader would do such a thing. You must be possessed." As he spoke, he had already walked into the mansion. After a long time, he came out and said, "Go in." Jun Changshao strode forward. When he brushed past him, he whispered, "Do you know what a watchdog is? It's looking down on people with a pair of dog eyes." "You!" The guard glared at him. Jun Changshao waved his sleeves and said, "Why do you have to be a watchdog? Why do you have to be a watchdog? Despicable guy." The guard was furious, but he immediately sneered, "A guy who is about to be imprisoned still has the mood to mock me." Jun Changshao walked into the mansion. The outer courtyard of the city lord's mansion was much larger than the Iron Bone sect. The slabs under his feet were neatly arranged. At first glance, it was obvious that they were made of high-quality stone. There was a martial arts practice field in front of him. On both sides of the room, it was magnificent. Jun Changshao touched his nose and whispered, "When I have money, I must expand the sect to be more magnificent than the city lord's mansion." Ambitious. In front of the main hall, a middle-aged man walked out. He was wearing a brocade robe and had an imposing appearance. His whole body exuded the aura of a person who had been in a high position for a long time. On the way, Jun Changshao learned about the appearance of the city lord from the Li family head. He cupped his hands and said, "Jun Changshao of the Iron Bone sect greets City Lord Xia." City Lord Xia laughed heartily. This city lord heard a little about the recruitment of the 100 sects a month ago. "Unfortunately, I was in seclusion at that time and was unable to invite Master Jun to my mansion. It is quite a pity." Seemingly easygoing, but it brought pressure to Jun Changshao, so he secretly said, "How strong is he?" The system said, "Higher than the elders of the Tsang Mountain sect." Wuzong. Jun Changshao secretly said, "No wonder there is so much pressure." Master Jun, City Lord Xia turned sideways and smiled, "Please come in." Jun Changshao walked into the main hall. Before he could stand still, he felt two cold eyes staring at him. Looking around, he saw two similar-looking middle-aged men sitting on the left and right side chairs. Master Jun, City Lord Xia introduced, "These two are the elders of the Spirit Spring sect. The one on the right is Wei Yai, the one on the left is Wei Yail." "Damn!" Jun Changshao secretly said, cupped his hands and smiled. It turned out to be the two elders of the Spirit Spring sect. "I have heard a lot about you." Humph, Wei Yail and Wei Yai coldly snorted. Their fourth brother had one of his arms cut off by this brat, so they naturally wouldn't give him a good face. Jun Changshao didn't mind, found a seat and sat down. Lightly tapping the armrest, he secretly said, "Enemies don't meet." Wei Yile and Wei Yai hated him, and Master Jun also hated the Spirit Spring sect. After all, they were the ones who secretly instigated the Haifeng stronghold to kidnap the disciples. Master Jun, City Lord Xie smiled, "I heard from the guards that you are here to receive a reward." "That's right." Jun Changshao took out the notice. "Humph," Wei Yai lightly said, "with Master Jun's ability to destroy the Haifeng stronghold, isn't it a bit of a fool's dream? In my opinion, Master Jun should be short of money, so you are here to cheat money." Wei Yile smiled, looking like a smiling tiger. "You want to provoke me?" Jun Changshao was about to return the favor when City Lord Xie said, "Master Jun, how can you prove that you were the one who destroyed the Haifeng stronghold?" Jun Changshao said, "I won't hide it from City Lord Xie. Jun went up the mountain alone and destroyed the Haifeng stronghold's leader and 200 bandits. There were no witnesses." City Lord Xie's face darkened. Every martial artist who came to receive a reward would say the same thing, but after he investigated them one by one, they were all fakes. No one saw it, so there is no way to prove it. Wei Yai cupped his hands. "Yes, City Lord Xie, in my opinion, he is here to cheat money." Ail also added, "As the leader of a sect, doing such a despicable thing, he is a disgrace to our 100 sect alliance." "Two idiots." Jun Changshao whispered. "Paw!" Wei Yai and Wei Yao angrily slapped their armrests. "Brat, I dare you to say that again." Jun Changshao ignored the two and smiled. "City Lord Xie, although Jun can't prove it, I can take out an item to prove it." "What item?" City Lord Xie asked. Jun Changshao snapped his fingers, and a heavy saber appeared out of thin air in front of him. A lifelike cyan dragon was engraved on the surface of the saber. Seeing this, City Lord Xie was shocked. Zhou Tianba's green dragon slash. Chapter 50. After Jun Changshao destroyed the Black Wind stronghold, he took away Zhou Tianba's green dragon biscuit. He planned to use it for himself, but he didn't expect to use it as proof. When Wei Yilu and Wei Yai saw the green dragon biscuit, they looked at each other. They had been to Black Mountain and met Zhou Tianba before, so they naturally recognized the long saber in front of the tiger skin chair. Was he really the one who destroyed the Black Wind stronghold? Impossible. Impossible. A pulse opening stage rookie couldn't have done it. There must be something else. Jun Changshao said, "Since City Lord Xie knows that this saber belongs to Zhou Tianba, can Jun use it as proof?" City Lord Xie pondered. He found it hard to believe that this Iron Bone sect leader could destroy the Black Wind stronghold, but according to the investigation, there was nothing left in the stronghold except corpses. Now that he took out the green dragon biscuit, there were only two possibilities. First, he went to Black Mountain first after the Black Wind stronghold was destroyed. Second, he was there when the Black Wind stronghold was destroyed, but someone else did it. Sect leader Jun, City Lord Xie said, "Can you tell me the process of destroying the Black Wind stronghold?" Ding! Side quest triggered. Here it comes again. Jun Changshao opened the status panel. The side quest was, let City Lord Xie believe that the host was the one who destroyed the Black Mountain stronghold. It seems that the green dragon biscuit can't convince him. Sect leader Jun was silent for a while, then said, "City Lord Xie, in fact, it's impossible for Jun to destroy so many bandits by himself." City Lord Xie said, "Someone helped." Jun Changshao shook his head, "Not a person, but a spirit." Spirit? City Lord Xie was confused. Jun Changshao said seriously, "To be exact, a heroic spirit." Heroic spirit? City Lord Xie was even more confused. Jun Changshao said, "City Lord Xie, do you know that the Iron Bones sect used to be an ancient sect?" "I've heard of it." City Lord Xie had heard of it long ago. However, after learning that the iron bone was created in the Eastern Sea's ally country's Iron Bone Mountain, the only comment he gave was nonsense. Jun Changshao said, although our Iron Bone upright sect has lost its former glory, the spirits of our ancestors are still here. When we are in danger, they will possess Jun's body and provide us with great power. City Lord Xia was surprised. There's such an existence in this world? Yes. You mean to say that the spirit of the ancestor possessed your body, and then destroyed the Blackwind Stockade in one fell swoop? Not bad. Jun Changshao nodded. He was just a Meridian opening stage newbie. Annihilating the Blackwind stronghold would be too shocking, so he pulled out an ancestor's spirit. In any case, they had no way of verifying it. TSK. City Lord Xia said, it's really mysterious. Wei Yai said, City Lord Xia, this brat is just spouting nonsense, don't believe him. Wei Yao said with a smile, Sect Leader Jun, I would like to ask, since Iron Bone can be possessed by an ancestor's spirit, how did it end up in the 9th class? Jun Changshao said indifferently, the first sect leader of our sect once went against the heavens and was later suppressed under the Five-Finger Mountain. The sect was cursed by the heavens, which is why it ended up like this. If I can't even cover up my lie, then what's the point of bragging? Speaking of which, sect leader Jun gave Iron Bone a historical breast enhancement. His shamelessness was comparable to a small country in East Asia. Full of nonsense. He's misleading the public with his lies. No matter how much Jun Changshao bragged, Wei Yao and his brother still didn't believe him, because it involved enmity. City Lord Xia smiled. Sect leader Jun, can you demonstrate the spirit possession? Jun Changshao said helplessly, the spirit possession of an ancestor's spirit can only be found by chance. Forgive Jun for not being able to demonstrate it. Wei Yai said, after talking for so long, it's still a lie. Wei Yishao added, the so-called heroic spirit possession is complete nonsense. How could City Lord Xia be deceived by a brat like you? Jun Changshao ignored the two and said, City Lord Xia, this is the process of destroying Heifeng's stronghold. The tyrant of Zhou is also here. Whether you believe it or not, I won't say anything. Why isn't it done yet? It seems that City Lord Xia is a bit hard to fool. The system said, he's a city lord after all. He's eaten more roads than you've walked on rice. He definitely won't believe it so easily. That's true. Wait a minute. Eaten roads, walked on rice? My system, can you not speak nonsense when you're uncultured? My head is about to explode because of you. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission. You've received 10 sect contribution points. Ding! Contribution points, 86100. System, Jun Changshao, City Lord Xia smiled. The matter that has puzzled me for many days has finally been solved. Sect Master Jun, he stood up and cupped his fists. I'm here to thank you on behalf of the people of Azure Sun County for eradicating the Heifeng stronghold that has been a disaster for many years. Wei Yao and Wei Yi were stunned. How could the city lord believe such nonsense? Jun Changshao was also stunned, but he said seriously, as a member of Azure Sun County, it's only right for me to uphold justice. As the leader of a sect, it's only right for me to get rid of evil for the people. Upholding justice, what a good getting rid of evil for the people. City Lord Xia's eyes were filled with admiration. He waved his hand and 1,000 taels of gold appeared on the table. I've never mistreated the righteous. Sect Master Jun, take it. Jun Changshao kept the gold in his spatial ring and cupped his fists. Thank you. He didn't even decline. This guy's skin was really thick. Thank you, City Lord. Wei Yai came out to cause trouble again. 1,000 taels of gold is a huge sum. Please consider it carefully so that it won't be taken away by some people for no reason. That's right. Wei Yao smiled and said, who knows if that saber is real or not? Mayor, please reconsider. Damn it. Did I give you face? Jun Changshao said coldly, the two elders have been targeting me since I came in. Aren't you bullying me? Wei Yao smiled. Sect Master Jun, don't misunderstand. We're just talking about the facts. Talking about the facts? Jun Changshao gripped the hilt of his saber and said, whether it is genuine or not, this king will fight with you. Won't we find out? Sure. Wei Yao said straightforwardly. On the martial arts field. Jun Changshao held the azure dragon saber and thought, how long until the haste talisman ends? The system said, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. The corners of Jun Changshao's mouth rose into a smile. Taking care of these two fellows won't delay our return to the sect. Paw! Wei Yao took out his 9th section whip and looked at City Lord Xia. Sabers and swords have no eyes. If anything happens, City Lord Xia will bear witness. This guy wasn't interested in testing the saber. Okay. City Lord Xia seemed to be enjoying the show. I'll bear witness. Sabers and swords have no eyes. After getting the answer, Wei Yao looked at Jun Changshao. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Sect Master Jun, are you ready? Come. Jun Changshao said. Xiao. Wei Yao poured his martial disciple-level spirit energy into the 9th section whip and suddenly waved it. Suddenly, it attacked like a long snake. The attack was very strong and the angle was tricky. Obviously, he planned to seriously injure or kill the target. He's really heavy-handed. City Lord Xia shook his head. He had heard of the grudge between the two sects in the martial arts field, but he didn't expect the Spirit Spring sect elder to be so ruthless. Can that guy dodge? While thinking, he saw Jun Changshao in his field of vision, taking a step forward, dragging a shadow and dodging the attack at an extremely fast speed. City Lord Xia was stunned. Shua! At this time, Jun Changshao circled behind Wei Yao. His eyes suddenly became cold and fierce. He waved his saber and slashed out. Poochie! The sound of something being cut was heard. Wei Yao's head flew out. Jun Changshao stood behind the corpse, maintaining his slashing motion. He said expressionlessly, Elder Wei, is this saber real or not? Chapter 51. Plop. Wei Yao's head rolled outside the martial arts practice field. There was a smile on his face, but there was also some surprise. The smile was innate. The surprise came when he saw Jun Changshao pulling afterimages to avoid his attack. A Meridian Opening Realm martial artist had such fast speed. Could it be that his eyes were playing tricks on him? This was the thought that came to Wei Yao's mind before he died. His head was chopped off and his thoughts were obliterated. He died without much pain. The most annoying thing was, after Jun Changshao killed him, he asked, Elder Wei, is this blade real? The blade was very real. Unfortunately, Wei Yao, who was completely dead, could no longer hear him and could no longer give him an answer. Plop! The headless corpse first knelt on the ground and then fell down. Blood splattered, forming a small pool of blood. Third brother. Wei Yai screamed at the top of his lungs. His thoughts were instantly controlled by anger. He took out his spear and stabbed forward. Whoosh whoosh. The spearhead was filled with spirit energy. It was like a hot knife through butter. Jun Changshao smiled coldly. He stepped around and once again dragged out layers of afterimages. He had obviously slowed down. In fact, when he killed Wei Yao, he did not fully release his speed. Because City Lord Xia was present, it would be shocking if he was seen. More importantly, if his performance was too exaggerated, the other person would not have the guts to kill him. Die! Jun Changshao, who had dodged the attack, had not yet stabilized his body. Wei Yai's spear thrust forward like a dragon. The spirit energy gathered at the spearhead was quite explosive. If it pierced his chest, it would definitely be a big hole. Jun Changshao's footsteps shifted as he controlled his speed within a controllable range. He circled to the left and abruptly swept out with his azure dragon biscuit. Bang! Wei Yi's eyes were sharp and his hands were fast. He held the spear in front of him, but the handle was directly cut off. He did not have time to feel sorry for his weapon. He hurriedly retreated a few steps and barely avoided the sweep of the blade. Now he asked Wei Yi if the azure dragon biscuit was real. He would definitely tell the truth. After all, the quality of the spear was extraordinary, and it was supported by spiritual power. In the end, it was still cut in half. Jun Changshao did not let him off. He took a step forward and waved his arms fiercely. The blade cut diagonally from the bottom to the top, once again dragging out a saber shadow. Not good. Wei Yi had a bad feeling. Just as the thought flashed through his mind, a heart-wrenching pain came from his neck, and his head flew out from his body. This was... Of all the martial arts in the world, only speed was invincible. Plop. Wei Yi's head fell to the ground, and the position was just close to Wei Yi's. His face was hideous, and it was obvious that he had experienced a short period of pain before his death. Jun Changshao stood in front of the headless body, his blood-stained saber sticking to the ground. He said coldly, "Those who kill me, I will kill them." These simple words, coupled with his murderous aura, could be said to be abnormally sinister. Standing in front of the main hall, City Lord Xie's expression froze. Obviously, he did not expect that the two martial disciple elders of the Spirit Springs sect would be killed by Jun Changshao. City Lord, according to my investigation, the cause of death of Zhou Tianba and the 200 bandits were mostly beheaded by a sharp blade. This was the report of his subordinate's previous investigation. Now that he thought about it, City Lord Xie could not help but secretly say, could it be that he really destroyed the Black Wind sect? Plop. Wei Yi's headless body fell to the ground, blood gushing out like a fountain. Jun Changshao put his saber back into the space ring and said, "Sorry, the blood of the two has dirted the martial arts field." Sect leader Jun, City Lord Xie asked curiously, "What footwork did you use just now?" It was so mysterious and unfathomable. Jun Changshao said, "Phantom steps." Phantom steps? How come I've never heard of it? City Lord Xie said secretly. He was completely indifferent to the death of Wei Yi and Zhou Tianba. Sabers and swords have no eyes, and they are responsible for their own deaths. He had made it clear before the battle, so he definitely wouldn't care. With the reward in hand and the enemy who wanted to kill him killed, Jun Changshao cupped his hands and said, "City Lord Xie, the sect still has some matters to take care of. Jun will take his leave first." City Lord Xie looked at the bodies of Wei Yi and Zhou Tianba and said, "Sect leader Jun killed 2 elders of the Spirit Springs sect. This hatred can be considered as irreconcilable. They provoked me first." Jun Changshao said. City Lord Xie shook his head, "The Spirit Springs sect has the support of the Holy Springs sect, they won't reason with you." Jun Changshao shrugged and said indifferently, "Jun is not a person who is afraid of trouble. If they dare to provoke me again, I will return the favor." As he said the words, "return the favor," his eyes were filled with killing intent. "Goodbye." Jun Changshao cupped his hands and turned to leave. Looking at the fading figure, City Lord Xie held his chin and said, "This kid is not a good person." From the magical footwork he used just now, if he had a high-quality weapon, it is very possible to destroy the Black Wind stronghold. Why did Jun Changshao complete the side quest? It wasn't because City Lord Xie believed his nonsense, but after seeing the Azure Dragon biscuit, he thought for a while and came to a preliminary conclusion. City Lord Xie believed that Jun Changshao couldn't have arrived before the Black Wind stronghold was destroyed, because no one knew that the mountain bandits were destroyed, so going there was no doubt that he would die. Then there was only the second guess left. When the Black Wind stronghold was destroyed, Jun Changshao was present, so if the person who killed the bandits was someone else, they must know him. It was City Lord Xie's guess that met the conditions for completing the side quest. Now that he saw Jun Changshao use the phantom steps, he firmly believed that the mountain bandits must have been destroyed by him. Little guy. City Lord Xie shook his head and smiled, In order to not expose your strength, you made up an ancestor's spirit. Do you really think this city lord is a 3-year-old child? Come to think of it. This kid has such a magical footwork, and the sect originated from the ancient times. Maybe it is not fake. Sigh. If you tell too many lies, there will always be one that will be believed. You can't blame City Lord Xia for his low IQ. It was because Jun Changxiao's speed was too fast, and he made up the phantom steps, which made him believe that it was impossible for a sect to have this kind of footwork. Even Lu Qianqian, after practicing the I Jing Jing, also guessed that the Iron Bones sect could have originated from the ancient times. No matter what. This decisive little guy, it is better not to provoke him. City Lord Xia was not afraid of Jun Changxiao, but he was very curious. If the Iron Bones sect was really an ancient sect, would it be able to rise again under his leadership? After Jun Changxiao left the City Lord's mansion, he didn't immediately leave Qingyang City. Instead, he entered a store and exchanged all the treasures he obtained from the Black Wind stronghold for silver notes. At first, he estimated that these treasures were worth about 10,000 taels, but he didn't expect that after exchanging, he actually received 30,000 taels. And this was only the treasures. There was still a lot of gold in the spatial ring. Jun Changxiao secretly said, including the reward from the City Lord's mansion, I should have 50,000 taels now. 50,000 taels of silver was nothing to a big family with property, but to the poor Iron Bone, it was definitely a huge sum of money. Ah! After walking out of the store, Jun Changxiao stretched and said with a smile, the feeling of having money is so good. Shwa! Suddenly, a petite girl rushed past him, almost bumping into him. Jun Changxiao subconsciously touched his pocket and found that nothing was missing. Running so fast, are you rushing to reincarnate? Ga. The girl suddenly stopped and retreated, with a face full of joy. Sect Master Jun. Jun Changxiao said, you know me? Shwa! Shwa! At this moment, several martial artists rushed from the intersection and quickly surrounded the two. The leader of the strong men cursed, damn it, run for me, and you brat, if you don't want to die, hurry up and get out of here. His voice suddenly stopped. Because the long sword was pressed against his shoulder, the blade was close to his neck. Jun Changxiao said with a smile, friend, it is impolite to speak vulgarities. Moreover, you must treat a lady with grace. Yes, yes. The strong man with the sword on his neck changed his angry expression and hurriedly said with a trembling smile, be polite, be gracious. Chapter 52. When a person was in a state of extreme anger, it would be very difficult for them to calm down, and they might even do irrational things. The brawny man who suddenly rushed out from the intersection was in such a situation. He approached the girl step by step, and the flames in his eyes seemed to be able to burn everything. However, when the cold blade touched his shoulder and was only a finger away from his neck, the monstrous anger immediately shrunk from his Baihui acupoint to his chrysanthemum acupoint, and his smiling face trembled. His angry face suddenly turned into a smiling face, and the difficulty level was 10 stars. Brat! You're fucking looking for death. You dare to put a blade on our boss Zhang's neck. The subordinates glared at him. The brawny man who was called Boss Zhang almost vomited blood. I'm being held by a blade, and you still want to scare him? If my hand slips, my head will fly out. Swoosh! Jun Changxiao raised the green dragon biscuit, and the blade was only a piece of paper away from his skin. Your subordinates don't know any manners. The blade flashed with a sharp light. Boss Zhang's scalp went numb when he saw it, and he said with a trembling voice, Brother. 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 I didn't teach you well. Don't lower yourself to their level. You bastards. He straightened his neck and shouted, hurry up and apologize to my brother. The subordinates also realized that their boss was in danger, and hurriedly said, Brother, we were wrong. Jun Changxiao said indifferently, I'll give you 3 seconds, scram as fast as you can. 1. As soon as he shouted, Boss Wang and his subordinates ran away in fear. Jun Changshao shook his head and put away the green spirit biscuit, saying, "They're gone, you're safe." The girl hiding behind him peeked out and confirmed that the group of fierce people had left. She tiptoed to the front and knelt down, saying gratefully, "Thank you for saving me, Sect leader Jun." Jun Changshao said, "I just didn't want to see a group of men bullying a weak girl, there's no need to be so courteous." Hee, I knew Sect leader Jun was a good person. The girl stood up and said with a charming smile. Jun Changshao was finally able to take a good look at her appearance. The girl was about 13 or 14 years old. She was petite and her head only reached his chest. Her long black hair was messy and her big watery eyes blinked as if they could speak. Although her face was covered in dust, it could not hide her beauty. Very cute, this was Jun Changshao's first impression. The girl was also sizing him up. Then, she giggled and said, "Sect Master Jun, you look much more beautiful than you look from afar." "What are you saying? Do I look ugly from afar? Also, if he was described as beautiful, did he look like a sissy?" Jun Changshao shook his head and said, "I'm going back." "You should go too. Sect Master Jun." The girl blocked his path and asked with tears in her eyes, "Can I join the Iron Bone clan?" She looked so pitiful that it made one's heart ache. Jun Changshao shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, my sect is temporarily not recruiting disciples." He also wanted to take in this cute girl, but the sect's member limit had been reached. If he forcefully took her in, he would be punished. The girl's tears flowed down and mixed with the mud and dust on her face. In an instant, her face was covered in tears. What the hell? She didn't even have time to think before crying. The girl raised her sleeve to wipe her tears. Her face was even more covered in tears as she said, "Woo-woo. Sect Master Jun, I don't have to be a disciple. I can be a servant." Although Sect Master Jun had just decisively killed the two elders of the Spirit Spring sect, when he saw the girl crying in front of him, he was suddenly at a loss. Hey, don't cry, woo-woo." The girl cried even louder. Her tears were like raindrops on a pear blossom, as if she was heartbroken by something sad. Sect Master Jun. What happened to the girl? She couldn't have been bullied by him, right? Hey! In any case, he's the leader of a sect. He even bullied a little girl. Is he still human? The girl's crying alarmed the passers-by in the distance. They gathered together and pointed at Jun Changshao. Sect Master Jun's expression changed again and again. Woo-woo. The girl continued to cry. Jun Changshao shouted, "Don't cry." Ga. The girl suddenly stopped crying. She tightly pursed her thin lips and looked at Jun Changshao with red eyes. Her appearance was really delicate and pitiful. Woo-woo. She still couldn't hold it in and cried loudly again. Sect Master Jun, you are the leader of a sect. Bullying a girl like this, doesn't your conscience hurt? She's still just a child. Jun Changshao was speechless and said, "Don't cry, don't cry. This king agrees." The girl smiled through her tears and said, "Thank you, Sect Master Jun." She was clearly crying in grief just now, but after agreeing, she immediately smiled. This must be learning from Sichuan opera, changing her face as soon as she said so. AI. Jun Changshao shook his head and said, "Let's go." Okay. The girl hurriedly followed. As she walked, she introduced herself, "Sect Master Jun, my name is Lu Wancher. My nickname is Dude, you can call me Dudu in the future." Lu Wancher. Jun Changshao thought to himself, such a poetic name, it really doesn't fit her. Although he had only met her for a short time, he could already tell that this young girl had a strange personality. How long does the haste talisman have left? 5 minutes. I can't reach the sect with this burden. I can only take a carriage back. Gulp. After walking a few steps, Lu Wancher's stomach rumbled with hunger. She held her stomach and said pitifully, "Sect Master Jun, I haven't eaten for a day." "What do you want to eat?" "I want to eat Star Moon Restaurant's stir-fried gardenia, honey-flavored huafang, jujube paste cake, braised beef, and beggar's chicken. Lu Wancher said several dishes in one breath. Jun Changxiao's mouth twitched. Just by hearing the names of the dishes, he knew that the price was not cheap. But then again, after transmigrating to another world, he either ate rice with vegetables or noodles every day. Now that he had money, he should enjoy the delicacies here. Pa! Jun Changxiao snapped his fingers and said, "Lead the way to Star Moon Restaurant, Star Moon Restaurant." It was the most famous restaurant in Qingyang City. Their secret stir-fried gardenia and other special dishes were famous far and wide. They were known as the world's delicacies. Every year, there would be customers who would travel thousands of miles just to have a taste. At this moment, in a private room on the third floor, Jun Changxiao and Lu Wancher were eating like a tornado. There was already a stack of empty plates beside them. Burp. An hour later, Jun Changxiao leaned on the chair and burped. World's delicacies. Lu Wancher put one of her legs on the chair and pointed at the empty plate with a toothpick. There is too little salt in this dish. It's a failure. The heat is not enough. It's a failure. There is too much oil in this dish. It's a failure of failures. Jun Changxiao was speechless. I see that you also ate quite a lot. Lu Wancher pouted and said, Sect Master, you must know that when a person is extremely hungry, they will not care about the quality of the food. Seeing her cute and serious look, Jun Changxiao teased, as if you know how to cook. I don't know how to cook. Lu Wancher said, I only know how to cook. Jun Changxiao was speechless. What's the difference between cooking and cooking? The difference is huge. Lu Wancher said seriously, cooking is cooking. Cooking includes everything, such as stir-frying, frying, sticking, boiling, deep frying, simmering, stewing, braising, grilling, don't say any more. Jun Changxiao hurriedly interrupted and said in surprise, you really know how to cook? Of course. Lu Wancher crossed her arms and leaned on the chair. She said proudly, if cooking is the same as martial arts talent, then I will definitely be a divine grade. So powerful? Jun Changxiao was doubtful. Lu Wancher smiled. Sect Master, if you don't believe me, I can show you a thing or two when we return to the sect. I will let you know what is a real-world delicacies. Chapter 53. Jun Changxiao spent 300 taels of silver to eat at Moonstar Restaurant. He didn't feel bad. After all, he had a lot of money. It didn't matter even if he added a zero. Sect Master, does our sect have any cooking tools, such as a pot, an iron pot, a steamer, or something like that? After walking out of the restaurant, Lu Wancher asked. I think so, Jun Changxiao said uncertainly. After transmigrating, he first ate at Aunt Wang's house in Qingyang village. After numerous sect was recruited, Li Qingyang was in charge of cooking. Food is the most important thing for the people. Lu Wancher said seriously, we can't be careless when it comes to food. Let's go to the market and buy some. Okay. Jun Changxiao took her to the market and bought a lot of utensils and seasonings. Sect Master Jun, who was a little skeptical, saw Lu Wancher's focused look when she chose the ingredients and immediately believed that she really knew how to cook. Does the sect have a vegetable garden? No. Does the sect have a livestock pen? No. Does the sect have a fish pond? No. Lu Wancher stopped and blinked. There's no this, and there's no that. What do the sect master and senior brothers eat all day? Jun Changxiao said, occasionally eat rice with vegetables, and occasionally eat noodles. Ah! Lu Wancher's eyes widened. After a while, she puffed up her cheeks and put her hands on her hips. People who cultivate martial arts eat this all day. Can the nutrition keep up? No, no. She circled around Jun Changxiao and wagged her finger, saying, after we return to the sect, I'm going to improve your meals. Jun Changxiao said, Qingyang, that brat, every time he cooks, it's either a thick pot or a salty dish. If you can improve the food, it will definitely be a great achievement. Lu Wancher thought for a while and said, let's buy some vegetable seeds and poultry first. Buy as much as you want. I'll pay. Outside Qingyang City, on the official road. A carriage galloped, and Jun Changshao, who was sitting inside, wanted to cry but had no tears. Poochie, Poochie. A few old hens flew up in the canopy, and their feathers fell on their heads. Why aren't you dodging? The carriage was filled with chickens, ducks, geese, lambs, and calves. The small canopy of the carriage was completely filled. There was nowhere to hide. Lu Wancher hugged a little white rabbit and used her small face to rub its soft fur. She smiled and said, Sect Master, we can raise these poultry first. Hee hee. Jun Changshao laughed dryly and then touched his forehead. Suddenly, he felt sticky and knew that it must be chicken dung. Dusk came. Jun Changshao returned with Lu Wancher and a group of domestic animals. However, as soon as he arrived at the entrance of the Iron Bone, he saw a man wearing a bamboo hat and rough clothes standing proudly with a saber in his hand. Who was this person? Sect leader is back. Tian Qi quickly ran out of the sect. He first glanced at Lu Wancher, then looked at the sect master. He quickly pinched his nose and said, Sect master, you also went to Qingyang village to pick up feces? Pick your sister. Jun Changshao pointed at a pile of poultry and said, hurry up and call someone to throw all these poultry into the inner courtyard. Yes, yes. Tian Qi was about to turn and leave. Wait. Jun Changshao pointed at the man wearing a bamboo hat at the entrance and said, who is he? Tian Qi lowered his voice and said, Sect master, he said he is called Ma Yongning, a wandering swordsman. He came here to spar with you. I've already told him that you're not in the sect. He's been standing there for about 8 hours. I reckon that he's probably asleep by now. Huff, huff. Indistinctly, the sound of snoring could be heard. Jun Changshao's mouth twitched and said, he can even fall asleep standing. Hurry up. He waved his hand and said, go call someone. Yes. Tian Qi quickly ran into the sect. After a while, all the disciples came out and quickly sent the poultry to the backyard. They were busy here, but the wandering swordsman was still standing in front of the door, snoring non-stop. Jun Changshao shook his head and said, Dudu, come in. N. Lu Wancher tiptoed and happily walked into the sect. When she saw the spacious courtyard and the main hall carved with jade, she said in surprise, Sect Master, our iron bone upright sect is so imposing. After returning, Jun Changshao took a bath first. Just as he sat on the chair in the main hall, Li Qingyang, Lu Qianshan and the other disciples returned from their missions. Xiao Ziji did not come in, because he went to take a bath after picking feces for the whole day. Sect Master. Su Xiaoma said, Xiao Huang has been found. Not bad. Jun Changshao nodded. Lu Qianshan leaned against the door and said indifferently, if there is nothing else, I will go back first. Wait. Jun Changshao said, I went to Qingyang City today and brought back a girl. The inner courtyard is being renovated, so I will stay with you in the same room. A girl? Lu Qianshan frowned slightly. Clang! Suddenly, the 3-feet-long sword at her waist was unsheathed and placed on the neck of the person who was sneakily walking over from behind. Lu Wancher did not expect that the other party would suddenly pull out the sword. Bean-sized tears rolled down as she cried, Sister! Don't kill me! I just took a bath, Qianshan. Jun Changshao hurriedly said, Put down the sword, she is the girl I was talking about. Oh! Lu Qianshan replied and sheathed her sword. Lu Wancher, who was still crying, smiled and said, Sister, you are so beautiful, just like a fairy. Jun Changshao waved his hand and said, Come here quickly. N. Lu Wancher walked into the main hall. After taking a bath, she changed into a loose robe. Her small face was white and tender, with baby fat that had not faded, making her look even cuter. June Changshao said, "She is called Lu Wancher, you can call her Du Du, from now on, she will be our Iron Bone Upright Sect's chef, gold medal chef." Li Qingyang was overjoyed. The sect leader found a chef, he finally did not have to cook anymore. "Senior brothers." Lu Wancher bowed and said, "Please take care of me in the future." June Changshao said, Du Du, let me introduce you. The one in front of the door is the eldest disciple, Lu Qianqian. This is the second disciple, Li Qingyang. The one beside him is the third disciple, Su Xiaoma. Every time someone was introduced, Lu Wancher would bow, looking very polite. After the introductions, June Changshao said, "The inner courtyard is being renovated, you and Qianqian can stay in the same room." And Lu Wancher nodded and smiled brightly. Li Qingyang said, "Sect leader, the sky is getting dark, shouldn't we cook?" Lu Wancher raised her small hand and volunteered, "Let me do it." On the left side of the main hall was the kitchen. After Li Qingyang's renovation, it looked quite decent. Lu Wancher tied her apron and picked up the kitchen knife on the chopping board. "Sect leader." Li Qingyang, who was standing outside and watching, whispered, Du Du is so young, can he really cook? June Changshao said, "From the way he holds the knife, he should be more professional than you." Li Qingyang was very hurt in his heart. Lu Wancher's expression turned serious, and she waved the kitchen knife. Suddenly, a knife light appeared, dazzling everyone who saw it. "Expert!" June Changshao and Li Qingyang exclaimed in unison. After a while, the knife light dissipated, and Lu Wancher nailed the kitchen knife on the chopping board. The scallions, ginger, and garlic that were placed on top were still intact. "Expert, an expert!" June Changshao and Li Qingyang widened their eyes. The scallions, ginger, and garlic seemed to be intact, but they were actually cut into pieces. It was just that they were too close to see clearly. This knife skill, amazing! Lu Wancher started to cook and said, "It's too late, I'll fry the leftover rice for you guys." "NN." June Changshao said. After the pot was heated up, Lu Wancher added oil, ginger, garlic, and other seasonings, and finally threw in the rice. She picked up a big spoon and stir-fried it. The whole process was smooth and smooth. After a while, the smell of fried rice rippled out from the kitchen. June Changshao and Li Qingyang raised their noses and took a sniff. They immediately exclaimed, "How fragrant!" Chapter 54. Oh my God, this is simply a delicacy in the world. I've never eaten such delicious fried rice, give me another bowl, no, give me 2 bowls. Du Du's culinary skills and second senior brothers are like heaven and earth. In the sect's cafeteria, the disciples were wolfing down the fried rice while praising it. They were not even willing to waste a single grain of rice. They could no longer use words to describe such delicious fried rice. Even Lu Qianqian, who had a cold personality, was sitting alone at a table in the corner and eating slowly. Li Qingyang was even more so. After eating the fried rice, he could only use the word trash to describe his culinary skills. Xiao Ziji tasted every grain of rice carefully. His expression changed again and again. He secretly exclaimed, "A delicacy in the world." June Changshao ate 2 bowls. He put down his bowl and chopsticks as if he had not had enough. He leaned on the chair and burped. Lu Wancher, who was sitting opposite him, held her cheeks with both hands. She blinked her eyes and smiled, "Sect leader, how is my culinary skills?" June Changshao praised, "Much better than the Star Moon Pavilion's chef." He was really glad that she cried and pestered him to come to Iron Bone's sect. Otherwise, where could he find such an awesome chef? Lu Wancher smiled and pouted, "The Star Moon Pavilion's chef is just a normal chef. I'm a high-level chef. When I comprehend a higher level, the dishes I make can provide strength for everyone." "That good?" June Changshao was dumbfounded. Lu Qianqian glanced sideways at him and continued eating her fried rice. Lu Wancher giggled and said, Sect leader, can I stay in Ironbone Sect now? Yes. Jun Changshao did not consider it at all. Lu Wancher's fried rice made the disciples happy. They returned to their own residences and did not forget to discuss in low voices. The night came and the moon hung high in the sky. Lu Qianqian sat on the roof of the main hall. Her hands were on her knees and her chin was on her arms. She looked at the scenery of the forest outside the sect. It's already so late. If you don't go to sleep, how are you going to do the quest tomorrow? Jun Changshao jumped up from below. Lu Qianqian ignored him. Her watery eyes were fixed on the scenery in the distance. When the cold wind blew, her soft black hair fluttered in the wind. Jun Changshao sat down and kept a distance from her. He said, I feel that if you have something on your mind, you'll feel better if you find someone to talk to. Lu Qianqian said, I'm fine. Jun Changshao laughed, sitting on the roof in the middle of the night just to look at the stars and moon. Yeah. You're in a good mood. Lu Qianqian said, Sect leader, Lu Wancher is not simple. How is it not simple? Jun Changshao asked. Lu Qianqian said lightly, as far as I know, only the Ouyang family of the Heavenly Mandate Imperial City can make meals that can improve one's strength. Heavenly Mandate Imperial City? Jun Changshao had never heard of it, but judging from the words Imperial City, it must be a very important place. Duda's surname is not Ouyang. The name can be changed, and the surname can be hidden. Like you. Lu Qianqian was silent and jumped down. Looking at the graceful figure walking toward the room, Jun Changshao shouted, Lu Qianqian, remember, you will always be the eldest disciple of the Iron Bone clan. Lu Qianqian stopped and said, I know. Jun Changshao's expression was solemn as he said, if you have any enemies, if you have any grudges, when the sect becomes stronger, this king will make a decision for you. Don't be reckless, and don't do anything foolish. Lu Qianqian's starry eyes flashed a strange look. Then she pushed the door open, went in, and closed the door. Jun Changshao yawned and jumped down from the roof to return to the main hall. Lu Qianqian leaned against the door of the room and said lightly, you seem to know a lot. The next day. The sky had just brightened. Lu Wancher wore an apron and started to get busy in the kitchen. Soon, the fragrance of the dishes filled the entire courtyard. The disciples who had just woken up had a great appetite. Oh, so delicious. I feel like I won't be tired after eating these dishes for the whole day. Give me a bowl of soup. In the sect's cafeteria, the disciples wolfed down the food and completely recognized Lu Wancher's cooking skills. After eating, the disciples felt full of energy and walked to the training field to start a new day of cultivation. Qianqian, Qingyang, you guys continue with your missions. Jun Changshao bit a toothpick and walked out of the cafeteria. Bang! Suddenly, a loud explosion was heard, and a red door flew out from his side with a swoosh, shattering into pieces on the ground far away. My door, the toothpick in Jun Changshao's mouth fell down. He turned his head stiffly and looked at the door. Ta! The sword-holding martial artist from yesterday stepped in and shouted, Wandering swordsman, Ma Yongning, here to experience the skills of the Iron Bone clan leader. In the training field. Jun Changshao held the Azure Dragon biscuit, his eyes burning with anger. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, he walked out happily with a toothpick in his mouth. In the end, the door was kicked out. Anyone would be angry. The swordsman called Ma Yongning looked at him and slowly pulled out his saber. He threw the scabbard out of the field and said, I've confirmed with my eyes that you are the one I want to fight. Confirm your ass. Jun Changshao stepped forward. He poured more than 2,000 pounds of strength into the Azure Dragon biscuit and slashed forward. Without the support of the Gallop Talisman, although his slash looked cold, it was far from the elegance and confidence when he killed the Spirit Spring Sect Elder. Ding! Ma Yongning blocked with his saber and said in surprise, You haven't become a martial disciple yet? Shwa! Jun Changshao pulled out his saber and used the same move again. But it was still blocked by Ma Yongning, who said, I've challenged more than 30 sects in a row, but I've never seen a sect leader as weak as you. You talk too much. Jun Changshao waved his saber and slashed forward. Unfortunately, the opponent was a genuine martial disciple. He could easily receive and dodge the attack. Ma Yongning defended a few moves and retreated to the edge of the field, saying, Kid, your strength is too weak. I don't even want to make a move. Is that so? Jun Changshao threw out the Azure Dragon Biscuit and took out the low-grade cold-edge sword, saying, Do you dare to take my sword? Ma Yongning glanced at the slightly cold sword and determined that it was not ordinary. He said indifferently, Do you think the gap between us can be made up with high-quality weapons? He took a step forward and took a stance to receive the attack. Shwa! 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 Jun Changshao waved his sword and used the first move of the 9 overlapping waves sword. 2 moves, 3 moves. Until the 8th move, he rose into the air and slashed out the 9th move among the layers of waves. He, who had opened 11 meridians and cultivated the I Jing Jing, once again used a sword move. The power was far stronger than before. Xiao, the sword chi gathered into the 9 overlapping waves and slashed down with unparalleled force. Ma Yongning sneered. He held the saber with both hands and placed it horizontally in front of his shoulders. He poured his spirit energy into the saber. Clearly, he wanted to take the 9th move of the 9 overlapping waves sword head-on. Ding! The sword chi directly hit the saber from top to bottom. The cold sword force spread out and blew away the dust on the floor. Kacha! In the next second, the sound of a weapon shattering could be heard. The saber infused with spirit energy was cut in half by the sword chi. The remaining power didn't decrease as it slashed down close to Ma Yongning's shoulder. Bang! The sword chi of the 9 overlapping waves sword exploded on the ground, leaving a half-meter-long sword mark. The broken saber was also inserted into the stone floor. Ma Yongning's expression was sluggish. After a while, he knelt on the ground and pulled out the broken saber with trembling hands. He raised his head and shouted, My saber! Chapter 55. Lu Qianxian, Li Qingyang, and the other disciples continued their mission at Qingyang village. The others started their day of cultivation, but they were not at the training ground. Instead, they moved to an empty space not far away. Why? Because the wandering swordsman called Ma Yongning was still kneeling on the training ground, holding his broken sword in a daze. It was noon, and the sun was shining, but he did not move at all. It was as if he had lost his soul. Ma Yongning's sword was not of high quality, but as a swordsman, he valued his sword as much as his life. Now that it was broken, it was equivalent to losing half of his life. Sect Master. Su Xiaoma said weakly, That guy is quite pitiful. Should we hold an umbrella for him? Jun Changshao pointed at the broken door and said, My door is even more pitiful than his. It was perfectly fine, but it was broken by a kick. At this moment, Ma Yongning stood up with his broken sword and said in a deep voice, I lost to you today. I am not as skilled as you, but I will challenge you again in the future. Goodbye. He put on his bamboo hat and left with his broken sword. Although the sword that he valued as much as his life was broken, he did not hold a grudge. Because he was not as skilled, he accepted his loss. Ma Yongning shouted, Only a true swordsman can be courageous after knowing shame. Jun Changshao rolled his eyes and said, Is this guy sick in the head? Ma Yongning's appearance was just a small interlude. After he left, the disciples returned to the training ground to continue their cultivation. After eating lunch made by Lu Wancher, they suddenly felt that life was too beautiful. Beep, beep. Jun Changshao said, There is an empty space in the inner courtyard. You can use it as a vegetable garden or build a livestock pen. The sect's cafeteria will be handed over to you in the future. Lu Wancher nodded. Her big eyes shone with the luster of a heavy burden. Jun Changshao returned to the main hall. As he cultivated I Jing Jing, He opened the system panel and said, 86 contribution points. How should I spend them? He opened the purchased items and realized that the limit of the primary grade insight talisman had been restored. He bought it without hesitation. This item could be used to point out inadequacies for disciples, and it could also be used to speed up their cultivation and steal other people's martial techniques. Naturally, the more the better. Jun Changshao murmured, the only reward left from the big gift package is the escape talisman. If an expert comes to cause trouble, I'm afraid it'll be difficult to deal with them. I have to plan ahead and buy a few talismans to protect myself. He opened the shop and looked for items. However, after searching for a long time, he didn't find any talismans. Instead, he found some goods with good names. However, they were flashy and useless. For example, there was a watertight chamber pot that cost 10 contribution points. According to the introduction, there was another space inside the chamber pot. The user did not need to empty the chamber pot. It also had a self-cleaning function and did not leave any smell. If it only cost 1 contribution point, Jun Changshao might consider buying it. After all, waking up at night to relieve himself and emptying the urinal was a troublesome matter. There were still many strange items in the shop, but because they were worthless, they wasted the limited space of the item column. The system said, there are all kinds of goods in the mall. Some of them may not be helpful to your strength. If the host is not satisfied, you can refresh the mall, or you can get some good stuff. Are you trying to trick me into spending contribution points again? Jun Chang knew what it was thinking, but after some consideration, he decisively chose to respawn. Ding! Contribution points, 66100. After spending 10 contribution points, a new item appeared in the beginner's mall. Jun Changshao only took a rough glance and saw a product called Beginner's Strength Increasing Talisman. The price was 20 contribution points. So expensive? He clicked on the details. The content was Item, Beginner's Strength Increasing Talisman. Effect, after use, it can increase the user's strength by 5 times from the original foundation. Duration, 60 minutes. Weakness, the user's physical foundation must be strong. Otherwise, after the duration is over, it will hurt the muscles and bones. Price, 20 contribution points. Increase strength by 5 times. Jun Changshao opened his eyes wide and said, my strength is close to 2000 gene. After using it, doesn't it mean that I have 10,000 gene of strength? Buy! Without hesitation, he bought it. Ding! The host has spent 20 contribution points and obtained Beginner's Strength Increasing Talisman X1. It has been transferred into the space ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 46100. With 86 contribution points, he bought 2 talismans and refreshed it again. In an instant, he spent 40 contribution points. Jun Changshao did not care. After all, contribution points were meant to be spent. This is only beginner's talisman. There should be intermediate or advanced talismans. The increase in strength must be even more terrifying. While thinking, he clicked on the intermediate's mall. When he saw that the first item was priced at 1000 contribution points, he immediately returned to the beginner's mall. The corner of his mouth twitched. What an unattainable existence! The system said, with the host's current cultivation base and the sect's construction, even if you can buy the items in the intermediate's mall, you won't be able to use them. Jun Changshao ignored it and continued to browse through the beginner's mall. When he saw an item, he immediately jumped up from his seat. What did I see? He saw a handgun with the words magically modified, Desert Eagle. There's really a gun. Jun Changshao's mouth was wide open. When he refreshed Yi Jinjing, he wondered if he could get a 98k. He did not expect to get a gun in the second refresh, although it was only a handgun. He clicked on the details, item, magically modified, Desert Eagle. Introduction, the original 357 caliber handgun from Israel. After modification, it is suitable for the world of high martial arts. It uses crystal nuclei as energy to condense bullets and fire them. Effect, fast firing rate, strong penetrating power. Duration, permanent. Weakness, although it has been modified, it has inherited the usual strong recoil of firearms. Not suitable for long-range attacks. Price, 10 contribution points. Jun Changshao murmured, so it's not powered by bullets, but by crystal nuclei. The original owner's memory contained information related to crystal nuclei. It was the energy core that existed in the body of a beast. Even the lowest grade crystal nuclei would be worth 1,000 taels in the market. Should I buy it or not? Jun Changshao hesitated. Although the gun was modified, he could not be sure whether it was powerful or not. It would be awkward if someone caught the bullet with their bare hands. Moreover, there was no crystal nuclei to power it. After hesitating for a while, Jun Changshao still clicked on the purchase option. After all, he came from Earth and had a special feeling for guns since he was young. Ding! The host has spent 10 contribution points. Magically modified, Desert Eagle X1. It has been transferred to the space ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 36100. Before the notification ended, Jun Changshao entered the space ring and held the silver-white Desert Eagle in his hand. It's heavy. It feels better than the toy guns I used to play with. Swoosh! He held the gun with one hand and pointed at the void. He pretended to be cool and said, "Sorry, I have a gun." Paw! 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 The childish Jun Changshao pretended to fire a few shots. At this moment, the system notification sounded in his ears again. Ding! Tiger Hook plowed 10 mu of land, Sect mission completed. Ding! Sect achievement points, 3100. Sect contribution points, 37100. Chapter 56. Jun Changshao assigned more than 20 sect missions to the disciples. Except for a few that had a fixed time limit, the rest were considered completed as long as they met the requirements. This was not the case. The next day, they continued their mission to Qingyang village. Jun Changshao was in the sect, and he continued to receive mission completion notifications. His sect achievement and contribution points were slowly increasing. Because most of the mission recommendations were 1 or 2 stars, the reward for completing the mission was only 1 or 2 points. Jun Changshao did not care about the increased contribution points. What he cared about was the achievement points. As long as it was filled, he could upgrade the sect and unlock more functions. Another day passed. It was the 5th day of the disciples' mission. When evening came, Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang, Xiao Ziji, and the rest returned. They had completed all 20 sect missions. The contribution points and achievement points in the system were as follows: Sect contribution points, 70100. Sect achievement points, 36100. After completing more than 20 sect missions, they received a total of 36 contribution points and achievement points. The disciples who completed the missions received at least 1 contribution point. Jun Changshao exchanged all the contribution points for Qi gathering elixirs. Su Xiaoma was the first to complete the mission. He also exchanged for a wooden sword and Qi gathering elixir. He did not give it to himself. He waited for everyone to complete the mission before giving it out. The next day, sect leader Jun gathered all the disciples and said loudly, "In view of Lu Qianqian and the rest's outstanding completion of the mission, I will reward each of them with a Qi gathering elixir." Qi gathering elixir? The disciples looked at each other. Jun Changshao said, "After taking this, the speed of gathering spirit energy will increase by 2 times for 12 hours. No way. Everyone's eyes widened. They had heard of supplements that could increase the speed of spirit energy absorption, but most of them were in the rich and powerful sections. Did our Iron Bones sect have them too? Jun Changshao placed more than 20 Qi gathering elixirs on the table and said, "Every Qi gathering elixir has your name written on it. Disciples who have completed the mission, come and collect them." Li Qingyang and the others walked up one by one and received the Qi gathering elixir according to their names, their eyes shining with excitement. Increasing the speed of spiritual energy absorption by 2 times was definitely the best cultivation aid for people like them with ordinary aptitudes. I have sinned. Jun Changshao said, why didn't you claim it? Xiao Ziji stood where he was and said bitterly, Sect leader, I have not opened my meridians and am unable to absorb spirit energy. Give the Qi gathering elixir to the apprentice brother who needs it. Shwa! Jun Changshao flicked his sleeve and threw the Qi gathering elixir over, saying, this is your reward. Even if you don't use it, you have to take it. As for the other disciples, if they want to get it, they have to complete the mission. Xiao Ziji caught it and said, I understand. Su Xiaoma. Here. In view of your outstanding performance, I will reward you with another weapon. Su Xiaoma's eyes lit up. However, when he took the wooden sword, the corner of his mouth twitched. Sect leader, isn't this sword a little light? Jun Changshao said, you can try its power. Su Xiaoma came to the training field and activated his 4th stage meridian opening strength, brandishing the sword. Shwa! Shwa! Streaks of sword shadows spread out in the training field. Lu Qianqian thought to herself, the quality of this wooden sword is probably not inferior to a low-grade high-grade one. Ha! Su Xiaoma channeled spiritual energy into the wooden sword and slashed it at the stone outside the field. With a bang, it shattered on the spot. Oh my god! So powerful! The quality of this wooden sword is definitely not ordinary. The disciples exclaimed in unison. Su Xiaoma, who had tested the sword, was overjoyed. He cupped his hands and said, thank you for the sword, sect leader. He was born poor and did not have much aptitude. To have such a powerful weapon was definitely something he had never dared to imagine. Qingyang. Jun Changshao took out a low-grade cold-edged sword and said, during this period of time, you have done a lot of things for the sect. This sword will be your reward. After the 100th sect recruitment ended, Li Qingyang took a fancy to the cold-edged sword. However, Jun Changshao did not give it to him. Instead, he wanted to see his future performance. Giving it to him today meant that his performance was not bad. Not only did he rebuild the sect, but he also brought his junior brothers to cultivate. He even acted as a chef. How could this kind of disciple's performance be bad? Li Qingyang stepped forward and took the cold-edged sword. He said excitedly, thank you, sect leader, for giving me the sword. Jun Chang glanced at the disciples and said, as long as you wholeheartedly serve the sect and work hard to become stronger, there will be resources, weapons, and martial skills. Yes! All the disciples shouted in unison. Lu Wancher, who was sitting in front of the cafeteria, held her chin and muttered, when can I become a disciple of the Iron Bone clan? After dismissing the disciples, Jun Changshao called Xiao Ziji to the main hall alone and asked, how is the cultivation of the body metamorphosis scripture going? He was still very concerned about this disciple. After all, he had already been in the sect for a few days and had become one with the other disciples. However, he still had a dispirited aura. Xiao Ziji said, reporting to sect leader, I haven't comprehended it yet. Nothing can be done in one go. Don't worry, take your time. Jun Changshao said. Xiao Ziji said, this disciple is working very hard. Can you tell me about your past? For example, why did your cultivation level fall and your spirit root degenerate? Jun Changshao asked. A trace of pain flashed through Xiao Ziji's eyes. The past was like a nightmare to him. Jun Changshao said, if you don't want to talk about the past, it doesn't matter. Who? Xiao Ziji took a deep breath and said with difficulty, this disciple opened the 12 meridians and gathered the energy to break through to the martial disciple realm. In the end, I failed and fainted. When I woke up, my spirit root and cultivation no longer existed. Did you feel any pain? No pain, no feelings. When you fainted, was there anyone beside you? This disciple was in the family's seclusion room. There was no one else. Jun Changshao first let Xiao Ziji go back to cultivate. Alone in the main hall, he thought to himself, breaking through to the martial disciple realm might have been too hasty. It's normal to fail. It's strange that his spirit root and cultivation are gone. Could it be that there was an old grandpa in that kid's body? That's not right. If there was an old grandpa, he would at most absorb spiritual energy to nourish himself. How could his spirit root disappear for no reason? Could it be that someone poisoned or dug it out? Jun Changshao thought about all the plots in the novels he had read that could turn the main character into a cripple. However, the more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. In the end, he simply stopped thinking about it. The most important thing now is to increase his strength. I hope the body metamorphosis scripture can help him open his meridians. The next day, the disciples came to the training grounds for their routine cultivation. Many of them were overjoyed. After taking the Qi gathering elixir, they had all opened a meridian after a night of cultivation. Opening 2 meridians in less than 2 months after coming to the sect was something that they would never have dared to imagine. It was still too early to be happy. This was because when Jun Changshao brought them to the beginner disciples' spiritual energy array and told them that it had the effect of doubling their spiritual energy, the disciples almost jumped up in excitement. Lu Qianqian did not care about the Qi gathering elixir. However, looking at the array flashing with blue light, she thought to herself in disbelief, the sect leader knows how to set up a spiritual energy array? The array opens once every 7 days. 20 people form a group and enter in batches to cultivate for 4 hours, Jun Changshao said. Ding! Array opened. 1 contribution point consumed. Ding! Sect contribution points, 69,100. Lu Qianqian was the first to enter the array. Feeling the double spiritual energy inside, she thought to herself in disbelief, he really knows how to set up arrays. Li Qingyang also walked in and exclaimed, I didn't think that the sect leader was also a master of arrays. Chapter 57. After the spiritual energy array was activated, the disciples entered in batches. Although it was only 4 hours, their cultivation was comparable to a day's worth of cultivation, which made them extremely happy. Jun Changshao sat cross-legged in the main hall and activated Yi Jin Jing. The disciples had a spiritual energy array, but he could not enter. He could only cultivate in the normal way. I have enough spiritual energy, break through the meridians. Jun Changshao gathered the spiritual energy in his meridians and tried to break through the last blocked meridian. In the end, he failed, sigh. He sighed, I'm afraid my luck is all used up on the shop. The system said, although Yi Jin Jing can increase the probability of opening the meridians, it is still very difficult for the host to open the last meridian. Oh. Jun Changshao replied and took out the modified Desert Eagle. He played with it and said, should I go to Qingyang City to buy some beast cores? My realm is not enough. I can make up for it with equipment. Oh right. He slapped his forehead and said, there is a mission to kill an earth flame wolf in the sect mission. This should be a relatively strong beast. If I let Qingyang City kill it, I might be able to get a core. The system said, a 3-star sect mission requires many disciples to work together to complete. If one person goes alone, it is equivalent to suicide. It's that serious? Jun Changshao pondered for a while and summoned Li Qingyang, Lu Qianqian, and Su Xiaomu. He said, there is an earth flame wolf outside Qingyang village. The 3 of you will come with me to eliminate it. Earth flame wolf? Li Qingyang said with a serious face, Sect Master, that is a fire-type beast comparable to a martial disciple. It is a bit tricky. Jun Changshao said, that is why I asked the 3 of you to come with me. Yes, sir. Li Qingyang and Su Xiaomu cupped their hands. As for Lu Qianqian, she had already walked out of the main hall and headed for the mountain gate. Ding! Receive sect mission. Mission introduction, please help the villagers of Qingyang village eradicate the earth flame wolves in the western slope valley, incomplete. Receiving disciples, Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang, Su Xiaomu. Mission reward, upon completion, the host will receive 5 achievement points and 5 contribution points. 5? There are quite a few of them. To the west of Qingyang village, there was a valley shrouded in fog all year round. The villagers called it the Wolf Valley. If it was just an ordinary wild wolf, the villagers wouldn't be afraid. However, a few years ago, there was an earth flame wolf that could breathe fire, and it often entered the village to disturb the villagers. Later, the former sect leader of the Iron Bones sect, Wang, came down from the mountain and tortured the earth flame wolf. After that, the earth flame wolf became obedient. However, the wolf was cruel by nature. During this period of time, it began to attack the livestock in the village frequently, causing considerable economic losses. Today, at this moment, Lu Qianqian's 3 disciples, who represented Iron Bone, were in the valley. 2 of them held sharp swords, while the other held a wooden sword. They were facing off against an earth flame wolf that was on fire. "Come on, you can do it." On a tree outside the valley, Jun Changshao encouraged his disciples. The corners of Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma's mouths twitched. "My dear sect leader, didn't we agree to accompany you to get rid of this evil? Why are you standing on a tree and making us face off against a ferocious beast comparable to a martial disciple?" Roar! The earth flame wolf, whose physique was like a Tibetan mastiff, roared angrily. Its sharp teeth were bared and it was even breathing fire. It looked very frightening. "I'll be the main attacker. You guys assist me from the side." Lu Qianqian poured her spiritual power into her 3-foot-long sword. It flashed with a dazzling light, and she attacked with a mysterious movement technique. When she was serious, she looked even more extraordinary. Jun Changshao held his chin and said, "This woman should be using some kind of movement technique." Swoosh! Li Qingyang strode forward and attacked from the side. He and senior sister were attacking from the front and the right. Su Xiaoma did not attack. It was not because he was afraid of death, but because he had only opened 4 meridians. Even if he had a primary grade wooden sword in hand, it was not enough to face a ferocious beast comparable to a martial disciple. "I must seize the opportunity and attack," he secretly said. Swoosh! Swoosh! Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang rushed to the front of the earth flame wolf. Their long swords pierced through the air, forming several sword auras to attack. Swoosh! The earth flame wolf's 4 limbs kicked, and it immediately jumped out of the intertwining sword auras. It then stopped in the distance and turned around to spit out a ball of flame. Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang hurriedly dodged. The flame exploded on the stone wall, and a charred hole immediately appeared. It was obvious that the flame was very powerful. Bang! Bang! The earth flame wolf opened its mouth and spat out 2 more flames, respectively attacking the 2 people. Although the power of the flames was strong, they were slow and could be easily dodged. Bang! 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 However, just as Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang dodged, the earth flame wolf's mouth was like a cannon, continuously spitting out several flame cannonballs. Damn! The corner of Jun Changxiao's mouth twitched. "You're even better at shooting than a keyboard warrior." Several flame cannonballs attacked. Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang could only continue dodging. They could not get close to the earth flame wolf at all. Here's the chance. While the earth flame wolf was attacking his senior brother and senior sister, Su Xiaoma circled around from behind. He poured his spiritual energy into his wooden sword and suddenly slashed forward. Ding! The wooden sword, carrying 1,000 pounds of force, slashed on the earth flame wolf's back, and the sound of iron striking rang out. Su Xiaoma's hand was even numb from the impact. He said, "Damn, its skin is so hard." Swoosh! At this moment, the earth flame wolf angrily turned its head. Hee hee. Su Xiaoma smiled foolishly and said, "I'm just testing your defense. Don't mind me." As he spoke, he ran away with his short legs and shouted, "Oh my God, senior brother and senior sister, save me." Huff huff. The earth flame wolf opened its bloody mouth, and scorching flames quickly gathered. Seeing this, Jun Changshao hurriedly shouted from the tree, "Xiao Mu, move quickly." Move? What the hell was that? Although Su Xiaoma did not understand, he looked back and saw that the earth flame wolf was condensing a flame cannonball. He immediately changed from running in a straight line to running in a Z shape. He silently prayed, "I can't hit it, bang," the flame cannonball shot over like a cannonball. Fortunately, he moved quickly and just happened to sweep past his butt. It only burned a small hole in his pants, and there was even a small flame. It's on fire. Su Xiaomo ran while patting the flame on his butt, looking very funny. Swoosh! Swoosh! Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang seized the opportunity and instantly approached the earth flame wolf. One chopped at its head, the other at its body, and cold sword energy spread out instantly. Roar! The earth flame wolf realized that something was wrong, but it could only dodge the sword that was aimed at its head, not the sword that was aimed at its back. Puchi, the cold-edged sword, which had been infused with spiritual energy, slashed at his body. Immediately, a deep and long sword wound appeared on his body, and flame-like blood flowed out with a hua-hua sound. Li Qingyang secretly exclaimed, "This sword is really strong." Puchi. At this moment, Lu Qianqian's second sword slashed at the earth flame wolf's neck. Although it did not cut off its head, it still left a bloody wound. Swoosh! Li Qingyang did not hesitate at all. Holding the sword with both hands, he infused spiritual energy into Cold Edge and slashed at the wound left by his senior sister. Puchi, after the second slash, the earth flame wolf could not take it anymore. Its head flew out and rolled in front of Su Xiaoma. Damn it! I'll let you breathe fire at me. Su Xiaoma raised his foot and stomped on the earth flame wolf's head. Ding! Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang, and Su Xiaoma have killed earth flame wolf. Sect mission completed. Ding! Sect contribution points, 74100. Sect achievement points, 41100. Qingyang. Jun Changshao shouted, "Check if there are any crystal cores in its body." Li Qingyang raised his sword and cut open the earth flame wolf's chest. A red crystal core rolled out and said, "Sect leader, there's a crystal core." Jun Changshao grinned and said, "The gun has bullets." Chapter 58. In front of a trickling stream, Li Qingyang dipped his sleeve in the water and wiped the blood-stained cold-edged sword. Using the sword given by the sect leader for the first time, he was very satisfied and secretly said, "If I had such a sharp weapon in hand before, I wouldn't have been seriously injured by the beast." Su Xiaoma sat on a stone and looked enviously at the cold-edged sword in second brother's hand, saying, "I must perform well and get the sect leader's approval to change the wooden sword to a sword like senior brother's." Lu Qianqian leaned against a tree, her bright eyes looking into the distance as if she was enjoying the mountain scenery. Occasionally, she glanced at Jun Changshao and saw his sad face. Puzzled, she asked, "What's wrong with him?" "Nothing, he just encountered a little trouble." How to load the Desert Eagle with a crystal core to form a bullet. Inside the space ring, the thought turned into a human form, holding a gun in one hand and a red crystal core in the other, back and forth several times, but there was still no effect. Jun Changshao was speechless. "You don't even give me a manual, how do you let me load the bullet?" The system said, "The host can use spiritual thoughts to communicate with the crystal core, draw out the energy, and integrate it into the groove at the bottom of the gun." Groove? Jun Changshao turned his wrist and found an inconspicuous groove at the bottom. He immediately sat down cross-legged and tried to communicate with the crystal core with his spiritual thoughts. He easily fused with it and felt the violent spiritual energy inside. There is a majestic source of spiritual power in the crystal core, but it is too violent and must be refined before it can be used. There are many uses for the crystal core, such as refining elixirs or enhancing weapons, so the price is very expensive. Ordinary martial artists can't afford to play with it. Jun Changshao shrouded the violent spiritual power. Slowly, the spiritual power flew out like a trickle of water, and then integrated into the groove at the bottom of the Desert Eagle, and a red dot flashed. Ding! About a moment, the handle of the gun formed a light similar to a bullet, which made Jun Changshao guess that it should be loaded with a bullet. Ding! Ding! The spiritual power continued to pour into the groove, and the shape of the bullet gradually accumulated at the handle of the gun, and soon 7 bullets were arranged. At this time, the spiritual power could no longer go in. Obviously, the bullets have been loaded, and the energy in the crystal core has been absorbed by more than half. 7 bullets isn't enough. Jun Changshao retracted his thoughts and muttered, if only I had an extended capacity magazine. Shwa! With a thought, he summoned the Desert Eagle. Holding the gun with both hands, he aimed at a rock and said, "Don't move, I'm a police officer." Lu Qianqian said indifferently, "What an idiot." Su Xiaoma leaned over and placed one of his eyes on the muzzle of the gun. He grinned and said, "Sect leader, what is this?" "This is a gun." Jun Changshao hurriedly raised his gun. He was afraid that he would accidentally fire and kill his disciple. Su Xiaoma was dumbfounded. Is this a gun? In his understanding, a gun was a weapon with a handle and a spearhead. Jun Changshao said, to be exact, it's a hidden weapon. It can shoot darts, making it impossible to guard against. With this explanation, Su Xiaoma immediately understood. He smiled and said, "Sect leader, can you shoot it for me to see?" Jun Changshao shook his head. There aren't many hidden weapons inside. Unless it's a crisis, you can't use it casually. I see. Su Xiaoma scratched his head and retreated. Li Qingyang said, "Sect leader, what is a police officer?" Ah. Jun Changshao said perfunctorily, "I'm just saying, don't mind it." He looked up at the sky and said, "Let's go back to the sect." He strapped the Desert Eagle to his waist and walked majestically. After all, he had a gun, so there was no need to worry about safety. Roar! Suddenly, the roar of a ferocious beast came from the direction of the Wolf Valley. Li Qingyang frowned. Sect leader, it's the sound of a wolf beast. Is there more than one earth flame wolf in the valley? It's here. Lu Qianqian put her hand on her sword, her eyes cold. Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma also became alert. Swoosh! Not long after, a fiery red shadow rushed out from the bushes and stood a few dozen meters away from the 4 of them. It was a ferocious beast very similar to an earth flame wolf, but it was much bigger. It was almost 2 meters tall, and the flames under its feet were even more intense. Li Qingyang said seriously, "Earth Flame Wolf King." Lu Qianqian frowned. Low rank 7 ferocious beast. The ferocious beasts in the Falling Star continent were also divided into low-rank ferocious beasts, middle-rank ferocious beasts, and high-rank ferocious beasts, which corresponded to the martial arts realm, martial disciple, martial master, and wuzong. Above the ferocious beasts were the spirit beasts, which were also divided into low, middle, and high ranks, which corresponded to martial king, Wu Huang, and Wu Sheng. As for the martial emperors, they were called sacred beasts. Regardless of the rank of the beast, there were ranks from rank 1 to rank 9. The earth flame wolf that Lu Qianqian and the other 2 killed earlier was a rank 2 ferocious beast, and this earth flame wolf king was a rank 7 ferocious beast, which was equivalent to a rank 7 martial disciple. Rank 2 ferocious beast, rank 7 ferocious beast, the difference was quite big. We're in trouble. Li Qingyang frowned. He held his sword in front of him and said, "You guys go first, I'll hold it back." Go my ass. Jun Changshao put his palm on his face and pushed him back. He stood in front of the disciples and said, "Remember, the number 1 motto of the Iron Bone clan is to be indifferent to life and death, and fight if you don't accept it." Li Qingyang was dumbfounded. Su Xiaoma's mouth twitched. "Leader, isn't the number 1 motto of our clan to be an Iron Bone clan person, and to do things with Iron Bone clan person? It's just been changed." Jun Changshao said. Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma almost fell over. Changing the sect's motto just like that, wasn't this too unserious? Everyone, back off. Today, I'll kill this beast, Jun Changshao said as he took out the desert eagle from his waist. However, he realized that the three disciples had already retreated. Su Xiaoma stood in the distance and said, "Do your best, leader, you can do it." This line was a bit familiar. Jun Changshao shook his head and aimed his gun at the Earth Flame Wolf King. He said proudly, "Beast, you don't have much time left." Roar! The Earth Flame Wolf King roared angrily. Flames instantly spewed out from its fur, and it charged forward. "You're courting death." Jun Changshao's index finger was on the trigger. He heard a bang and fired. In the end, nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. Damn it! What's going on? Jun Changshao hurriedly fired 2 more shots. In the end, only soft bang sounds were heard, and no bullets were fired. Roar! The Earth Flame Wolf King charged forward. Sharp claws popped out from its thick and long forelimbs, and flames instantly rose. The arrogance on Jun Changshao's face disappeared. He hurriedly rolled to the right and roared in his heart, "Is this a fucking gun or a model?" The system said, "Host, the bullet is not loaded." Damn it, I forgot. Jun Changshao hurriedly rolled back a few more times. Taking advantage of the Earth Flame Wolf King's missed attack, he pulled the gun's barrel back. Bastard, die! He half-knelt and pulled the trigger again. A bang sound was heard, and no bullets were fired again. Damn it! What the fuck is going on? What's leader doing? Why isn't he shooting any hidden weapons? If I'm not wrong, leader should be practicing his reflexes. Damn it, he's practicing his reflexes in front of a 7th grade vicious beast. Leader is simply too amazing. Su Xiaoma's face was full of admiration. Roar! The Earth Flame Wolf King turned its head and opened its mouth to spit out a large fireball. Its power was much stronger than the Earth Flame Wolf King's. The downside was that it was still slow. Jun Changshao rolled to the side again and barely dodged the fireball. He said frantically, "System, what the fuck is going on?" The host did not pull the safety. Damn it, although Jun Changshao was on the verge of breaking down, he still saw that the barrel of the gun was facing his direction. There was a small plate where the hammer should be, so he hurriedly removed it. Roar! The Earth Flame Wolf King charged forward again. This time, it was extremely fast. Flames erupted from its claws and teeth. It seemed that it was determined to tear the human in front of it into pieces. Leader is in danger. Su Xiaoma's expression changed greatly. Clang! Clang! Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang both drew their swords. Just as they were about to charge forward, they heard a bang sound. Their eardrums buzzed, and they were dumbstruck. Chapter 59. Boom! The huge ground fire Wolf King fell from the sky, its limbs paralyzed. The fire in its feet dissipated, and there was a grape-sized hole in its forehead. Blood and brain matter immediately flowed out. A lower 7th grade vicious beast dead. Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang, who had drawn their swords to assist Jun Changshao, stood rooted to the ground, dumbstruck. Su Xiaoma also opened his mouth. What did they just see? They saw the moment the ground fire Wolf King pounced on the sect leader, a silver hidden weapon shot out a stream of light with a bang, piercing through the sect leader's forehead at an extremely fast speed. How fast? It was so fast that they couldn't even see what kind of hidden weapon was in the stream of light. Don't be in a daze, come help me. Jun Changshao's voice was heard. The 3 of them came back to their senses and looked at the bushes in the distance. They saw the sect leader lying there with his arms raised high. The hidden weapon in his hand was smoking, and his entire body seemed to be stiff. How could he not be stiff? The strong recoil from the shot sent him flying 4 to 5 meters away. The arm holding the gun was also shaken to the point that he couldn't feel it. Was that a pistol or a rocket launcher? Although he complained, Jun Changshao was still in pain and happy at the same time. A pistol could kill a vicious beast comparable to a 7th-grade martial disciple. What was the point of cultivating in the future? He might as well just carry a gun and go into the martial world. Gentler. My tender waist. Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma carefully helped Jun Changshao up, but his arm was still straight. It seemed that he needed some time to recover. Lu Qianqian walked to the ground Fire Wolf King's corpse and cut open its chest. A fiery crystal core rolled out. Whether it was the size or the color, it was obviously much better than the ground Fire Wolf King. Sect leader, do you want the crystal core? Yes. Jun Changshao was carried back to the sect while maintaining the shooting position. After resting for half a day, his stiff muscles finally relaxed. He broke down and said, "This recoil is too strong." The system said, "Strictly speaking, the host's body is too weak." Jun Changshao was speechless. This is just a handgun. The bullets fired are similar to cannonballs. Who can withstand such a strong recoil? The system explained, the magically modified Desert Eagle is enhanced by the crystal core of a high martial realm. It has already surpassed the limits of the host's previous handgun. Jun Changshao's mouth twitched. I want to spawn a magically modified rocket launcher. Wouldn't its power be comparable to a nuclear bomb? This is hard to say. The system replied. Jun Changshao didn't pay any more attention to it. He hurriedly opened the purchase tab and discovered that the Desert Eagle had been magically changed. The Desert Eagle was now gray, and the purchase time was limited to 2 months. If we don't limit the number of weapons, we can buy one for each disciple. Who would still use a sword in a fight? A hidden weapon killed a 7th-grade Earth Fire Wolf King in one shot. Senior Brother Su, what kind of hidden weapon is the sect leader using? It's so powerful. On the martial arts practice field, many disciples surrounded Su Xiaoma, scrambling to ask about the previous incident. Cough cough. Su Xiaoma stepped on a stone with one foot and made a shooting posture. He said, the hidden weapon the sect leader used is called a gun. Gun? It's not the long weapons we use. It's a hidden weapon that's only the size of a slingshot. Then, with a bang, it killed the Earth Fire Wolf King. Don't be fooled by Su Xiaoma's eloquence. Thinking about how one of his eyes was stuck to the hole of the gun, he felt a chill down his spine. Oh my God. I actually leaned in. If an accident happened, wouldn't my head explode? The sect leader is too powerful. After the disciples understood the cause of the incident, their eyes were filled with even more worship. If the system had data like worship points, their worship of the sect leader would have already broken through 10,000. Giving pointers to everyone in Qingyang City. Severing an arm of a Spirit Spring sect elder on the grievance platform. Annihilating over 200 bandits with the strength of a single person from the Black Wind sect. And now, using a hidden weapon, he killed the Earth Fire Wolf King, which was comparable to a martial disciple of the 7th rank. Everything that Jun Changshao did, to the disciples, could only be looked up to and worshipped. More importantly, the sect leader had yet to become a martial disciple. The next day, Jun Changshao continued to assign tasks to the disciples who had not done them before, telling them to go to Qingyang village to complete them. Then, he began to immerse himself in cultivation. With the Desert Eagle in hand, although he was safe, the recoil was too great. If he wanted to control it perfectly, he had to quickly increase his cultivation and physical strength. Ding! Host has spent 20 contribution points. Obtained Muscle Building Room X1. It has been transferred into the Space Ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 54100. Jun Changshao came to the side room, took out a tent that looked like a camping tent, and placed it in front of the strength testing machine. The muscle building room was a supplementary item for tempering the body. Although it would not increase the realm of martial arts, it could increase the strength of the muscles. At first, Jun Changshao did not plan to buy it. After all, 20 contribution points was a bit expensive. However, he could not withstand the recoil of the desert eagle and realized that his body was too weak. Just relying on the Jing to build his body was too slow. Phew! Exhaling, he opened the door of the muscle-building room and went in. The space inside was not big, just enough to accommodate one person. The four walls were soft cushions, making it very comfortable to lie inside. Jun Changshao said, "Could it be that it's used to temper the body through massage? That seems interesting." He closed the door and started it up. Bang! 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 The muscle-building room suddenly shook. Muffled sounds of punches could be heard, accompanied by screams of agony. Inside, Jun Changshao was squeezed into a small space. The soft cushions turned into a hammerhead, taking care of him in all directions. It could be said that every punch hit his flesh. Damn it! This muscle-building room was poisonous. Stop! Stop! However, no matter how hard Jun Changshao tried to control his mind, the hammerhead still came. Not only did it not intend to stop, it hit harder and harder. The system said, once the muscle-building room is activated, it will last for 2 hours. Damn it! Quickly pull out the power. Bang! 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 Ah! 2 hours later. The door of the muscle-building room opened by itself. Jun Changshao slid out from inside. His face was bruised and swollen, and he was foaming at the mouth. Damned muscle-building room, damned system. Feeling the soreness and pain in his muscles, Sect leader Jun, who was lying on the ground, had a look of despair on his face. The system said, when heaven bestows a great responsibility on a great man, it must first make his will suffer and his muscles and bones toil. Scram! Jun Changshao said weakly. Although the muscle-building room was a little brutal, after a night of rest, his waist was no longer sore and his legs were no longer painful. His muscles were much stronger than yesterday. Jun Changshao said in surprise, "It's taking effect so quickly." He went to the strength testing machine and punched it. It showed that his strength was 1,900 pounds. Yesterday, he tested it and his strength was 1,850 pounds. After 2 hours of tempering, it actually increased by 50 pounds. This effect was very significant. Continue. Opening the door of the muscle-building room, Jun Changshao went in again. After being tortured for 2 hours, he slid out like mud. The next day, after the pain dissipated, he was full of energy and his muscles were more solid. Sect leader. At this time, Xiao Ziji walked over with his head lowered and said, "I have already comprehended I Jing. This is a good thing. Why are you looking so sad?" Jun Changshao said. Xiao Ziji said bitterly, "After a night of absorbing, I didn't gather any spiritual energy. It seems that I am destined to be unable to cultivate in this life." Jun Changshao wanted to comfort him, but suddenly had a flash of inspiration and said, Come, I will bring you to cultivate." Saying so, he led him to the muscle-building room. "Go in." "Oh." Xiao Ziji lay down and said foolishly, "Sect leader, is this a bed?" Pa! Jun Changshao snapped his fingers and the muscle-building room suddenly trembled. The time shown on it was 4 hours. Pang! 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 Ah! 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 Chapter 60. Outside the side room. Xiao Ziji was lying in front of the stairs like a puddle of mud. His entire face was beaten up so badly that even his own mother wouldn't be able to recognize him. 4 hours. Jun Changshao was beaten up for 2 hours. He already had nothing left to live for, let alone him who had no cultivation base. Of course. The muscle molding room carried out rigorous and scientific tempering according to the different physiques of the martial artist. It wouldn't kill anyone because of excessive force. "Junior brother, what happened to you? Who beat him up?" "They were too heavy-handed. I heard that the sect master is carrying out special training for junior brother Xiao." The disciples passing by all looked at him sympathetically. Jun Changshao walked over and sat on the stairs. How do you feel? It hurts. Xiao Ziji said weakly. Jun Changshao patted him on the shoulder and said, it's still the same thing. When the heavens give a great responsibility to a great man, it must first make his mind suffer and his muscles and bones tired. Xiao Ziji didn't say anything. His eyes were full of decadence. After being beaten up by the muscle molding room, it only hurt on the body. He couldn't condense spirit energy even with the help of a divine-grade mental cultivation method, but it hurt to the heart. Sect Master, I'm really a waste, a useless waste. Xiao Ziji seemed to have accepted the arrangement of fate. He became even more depressed. In this world, how could one become stronger? Only by absorbing spirit energy. It was difficult to absorb, to strengthen oneself, and to open up blocked meridians. He was no different from a waste. Xiao Ziji. Jun Changshao looked at him and said sternly, remember this, there are no wastes in iron bone. Sect Master, don't say any more. From tomorrow onwards, come here every day to mold for 8 hours. 8 hours, Xiao Ziji spread out his limbs and turned into mud again. The next day, when he opened his eyes, he found that not only did his body not hurt, but his muscles also changed significantly compared to yesterday. What's going on? Xiao Ziji was confused, but he still followed the sect master's instructions. He went to the side room and entered the muscle molding room. Jun Changshao had already set it in advance. As long as he went in and closed the door, it would automatically open. The molding time was 8 hours. This time was really long. After it was over, Xiao Ziji was once again a pile of mud, and his stomach was rumbling with hunger. After eating the food cooked by Lu Wancher and sleeping, his tiredness and pain disappeared. His muscles were even stronger, which made him very excited to go to the molding room. Junior brother seems to be in a good mood today. It can't be, right? After being tortured by the sect leader for 2 days, his heart has soared. All the disciples shook their heads. If they knew that the molding room could quickly strengthen their bodies and muscles, they would definitely fight to be tortured. Xiao Ziji was tortured during the day, while Jun Changshao was tortured during the night. The two of them had staggered their times. Speaking of which, why didn't he let the other disciples temper it? After all, having a good physical body foundation would be of great help in the future. Jun Changshao's intention was very simple. If Xiao Ziji could not absorb spiritual energy, he would first undergo special training to temper his body to the extreme, thus establishing his confidence in cultivating martial arts. Needless to say, after 3 days of training, Xiao Ziji tested again and again on the testing machine. His strength slowly increased from the previous 20 to 30 kilograms to 50 kilograms. Because he had not opened his meridians and his aptitude, although the increase was slow, it gave him hope to become stronger. His depressed eyes flashed with hope. Sect leader, disciple wants to increase the time. How long? 12 hours. Okay. After Xiao Ziji left, Jun Changshao held his chin and said, "Do you want to buy a muscle molding room? This item was limited to 5 pieces per month." Ding! Li Fei sent a letter to Ox Village, completed the sect mission. Ding! Sect contribution points, 84100. Sect achievement points, 71,100. In the 3 days that Xiao Ziji was tempering his muscles, there were disciples who completed missions one after another, and both values increased by 30 points. Jun Changshao said, "There are still 20+ missions that have not been released. If you finish them all, your achievement points will be full, and your contribution points will overflow. Buy it." Ding! Host spent 20 contribution points, received Muscle Molding Room X1, has been transferred to the Spatial Ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 64100. Jun Changshao placed the 2 muscle molding rooms side by side, then renamed this room as the training room. The disciples who completed their missions gathered together and gave out chi-gathering elixirs and rudimentary wooden swords as a reward. There were mantras, formations, training rooms, and professional chefs. Only the ninth-rate Iron Bonjing sect was developing in a good direction. But Jun Changshao knew that the sect had just started, and he still had a long way to go. Sect leader Li Qingyang came to report, the inner yard has been reconstructed. How much did you spend? Jun Changshao asked. Li Qingyang said embarrassedly, of the 10,000 taels that sect leader gave me, there are still 2,000 left. Jun Changshao's mouth twitched, and he thought to himself, he's really generous. The more money you spend, the better the results. When he came to the inner yard, he looked at the rows of buildings and nodded with satisfaction. Li Qingyang pointed to the luxurious courtyard in the distance, and said, Sect leader, this is your residence, an independent courtyard with a pond, a backyard, and a study. Not bad, Jun Changshao said. Li Qingyang continued, to the north is where the male disciples live, and to the south is where the female disciples live. There's a small practice field in each. Sigh. Jun Changshao said, I forgot to remind you, the female disciples' rooms should be closer to my courtyard. Li Qingyang was speechless. Oh, right. Jun Changshao said, pick a few disciples with good potential, and let them enter the training room in batches to train with Zui Ji, each one will have 2 hours. Senior brother, what is this? Li Qingyang brought Su Xiaoma and the other disciples to stand in front of the 2 muscle molding rooms, staring at each other. Bang! At this moment, Xiao Ziji walked in and punched the strength testing machine, and the number displayed was 300 kilograms. Note, displayed as 300 kilograms, numbers are substituted for convenience. This. Li Qingyang and the others were tongue-tied. Junior brother Xiao had not opened his meridians, and his punch did not have any spirit energy, yet he could produce a strength comparable to a second-stage meridian-opening martial artist. It was simply terrifying. Junior brother. Su Xiaoma walked over and touched Xiao Ziji's firm muscles, and said in surprise, Are you born with divine strength? No. Xiao Ziji looked at the muscle molding room, and said, It's all thanks to this. As he spoke, he opened the door and went in. The muscle molding room immediately shook, and the sound of punches could be heard. Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and the others leaned in and heard the commotion inside. Their expressions immediately became interesting. No wonder junior brother's face was bruised and swollen these days, so he was beaten up inside. Let me give it a try. Li Qingyang entered another muscle molding room. As Jun Changshao had said it beforehand, it was activated the moment the door closed. 2 hours later. The number 1 genius of Qingyang City slid out while foaming at the mouth. In the main hall, Jun Changshao was cultivating the body metamorphosis scripture. For the past few days, he had been molding for 4 hours every night. Not only did his strength increase, but his muscles also showed beautiful lines. Phew! Jun Changshao exhaled and said, I hope I can succeed in unlocking my meridians this time. Perhaps it was due to the tempering of his muscles, he gathered spiritual energy to attack his blocked meridians, and finally opened them. Huff huff. The majestic spiritual energy whistled through his meridians like a surging flood, and he enjoyed the feeling very much. Ha ha ha. I finally succeeded, I finally opened them. This meridian opening had an extraordinary meaning for Jun Changshao, as he did not rely on experience points or elixirs. He relied entirely on his own efforts to open them. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, Unceasing Self-Improvement. The reward is 10 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 74100. Jun Changshao muttered, as expected, I can complete the hidden mission by relying on my own efforts to open a meridian. Ding! Host has opened 12 meridians. Requirement met. Epic mission activated. Jun Changshao was stunned. He hurriedly opened the data panel and saw that there was an additional epic mission under the Sect mission. The content was, Qingyang County will be holding a martial arts competition in 10 days. Bring 5 disciples to participate, incomplete. Chapter 61. Jun Changshao had opened 12 meridians and met the requirements, so the epic mission was activated. However, when he saw the mission, he said in disbelief, "It's just a simple competition." He clicked on the mission details and a complete introduction appeared. Epic Mission 1. Mission details: Azure Sun County will hold a biennial martial arts competition in 10 days. Host needs to bring 5 disciples to participate. Mission conditions: disciples must take the top 3 places. Mission failure: disciples will be eliminated in the first round if they do not register for the competition within the time limit. Mission rewards: the 3 question marks were a little naughty, so naughty that Jun Changshao broke down and said, "What the hell are the 3 question marks for?" The system said, the reward for the epic mission is based on the host's completion rate, so it's impossible to determine what the final reward is. Isn't the mission condition written? Disciples must take the top 3 places. Jun Changshao said. The system explained, the mission condition is just a definition. If only one of the host's disciples reaches the top 3 or exceeds the quota, the reward will change. Jun Changshao said, if a disciple reaches the top 3, it'll be considered as completing the mission, but because the completion rate is low, the reward will be less. That's right. If 5 disciples reach the top 4, it's equivalent to exceeding the quota, and the reward will be higher than the definition. Yes. Jun Changshao said, can I not participate? The system said, if you don't participate, it'll be equivalent to failing the mission. Host will be punished and cannot break through a major realm within the specified time limit. How long? At least 10 years. Jun Changshao spread his hands and said, in that case, I have to do the epic mission. Li Qingyang dragged his bruised and swollen body and walked in step by step. Sect Master, do you have any orders? He was very satisfied with spending 2 hours to shape his body. Jun Changshao said, have you heard of the martial arts competition in Azure Sun County? I've heard of it. Li Qingyang rubbed his painful face and said, it's held every 2 years. This time, it'll start in 10 days. Suddenly, he realized something and said, Sect Master, our sect won't register for the competition, right? No. That's good. But I'm planning to sign up. Li Qingyang twitched his mouth and said, Sect Leader, that's a martial arts competition for the high-level sections. If we send Iron Bone unyielding, we will only be reduced to cannon fodder. Jun Changshao rested his arms on the armrest and rested his chin on the back of his hand. Do you have so little confidence in yourself and your sect? Li Qingyang said seriously, according to what this disciple knows, each sect will send their most outstanding disciples to participate in this kind of competition. Most of them are at the martial disciple level. Is that so? Jun Changshao frowned. The disciples of the sect were all at the pulse opening stage. If they were to fight with a martial disciple, they would definitely be at a disadvantage, not to mention entering the top 3. Li Qingyang continued, the champion of the last tournament is a disciple of the 6th-rate Hualing school. His strength has already reached the 3rd grade of martial disciple. Jun Changshao's frown deepened. If there were rank 3 martial disciples participating in this year's tournament, how could their disciples fight against them? Epic quest? I think it's a hell mission. Jun Changshao asked, where can I register for the martial arts competition? The sect leader still wants to participate. Although Li Qingyang was speechless, he still said, this year's martial arts competition will be held in Liang City. Liang City? Isn't that the city where the Sini clan is located? Yes, sect leader. Jun Changshao was silent for a moment, then said, inform Lu Qianqian, Su Xiaoma, Tian Qi, and Xiao Ziji that tomorrow I will begin the devil training for the 5 of you. Devil training? Li Qingyang was dumbfounded. Jun Changshao walked down and patted him on the shoulder. He said in a deep voice, in 10 days, I will send you to participate in the martial arts competition. You must take the top 3 places. Ah! Li Qingyang was dumbfounded. If they failed the epic quest, their realm would be sealed for 10 years. Even if Jun Changshao knew it was hell mode, he still had to do it. He was more optimistic about Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang. One hid her strength well, while the other had an extraordinary aptitude. Although Su Xiaoma and Tian Qi were a bit lacking, they might be able to improve a lot after undergoing the devil training in 10 days. As for sending Xiao Ziji, Jun Changshao hoped that he could use his strength to prove to the Xiao clan and the world that he wasn't trash. This was a bit difficult the next day. Jun Changshao distributed the remaining sect missions to the disciples. Then, he brought Lu Qianqian and the other 3 to the beginner disciples' spirit energy array. He said, "You guys go in and cultivate for 4 hours." Su Xiaoma and Tian Qi's gazes immediately became heated. Lu Qianqian said, "Sect leader really wants to send us to participate in the martial arts competition in Xinjiang County?" Jun Changshao said with a serious expression, "Not only do we have to participate, but we also have to take the top 3 spots." Lu Qianqian said, "It's a bit difficult." Jun Changshao said, "It's only challenging when it's difficult." "Tell me loudly, can you guys do it?" "Yes." Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma shouted in unison. "Go in and cultivate." "Yes." The 4 of them entered the activation array and began cultivating. In the training room, Xiao Ziji lowered his head and said, "Sect leader, it's better to send other senior brothers to participate. This disciple isn't up to the task." Although the muscle building room gave him hope, he didn't have much confidence in competing with the other sect's disciples in Liang City. Jun Changshao said, "Are you running away?" Xiao Ziji said painfully, "This disciple doesn't want to drag the sect down." Go, he didn't mind losing face or being spurned by others, but he didn't want to represent the Iron Bone sect. He didn't want to bear the shame for a trash like himself. Jun Changshao pulled Xiao Ziji over and said in a deep voice, "In 10 days, become stronger for this sect leader. Use your strength to prove to them that even if you, Xiao Ziji, don't have a spirit root and don't have a cultivation base, you're still a genius that only appears once in 1,000 years." He was a little emotional, and his saliva flew everywhere. Looking at the sect leader's eyes, Xiao Ziji's heart gradually warmed. It was a feeling of being trusted, even if he was just a trash now. Crack. Xiao Ziji clenched his fists and said loudly, "This disciple understands." Swoosh! Jun Changshao swung his hand and threw him into the muscle building room. The activation time was 20 hours. While being greeted by the hammerhead, Xiao Ziji activated I Jin scripture and achieved a double enhancement of his physical body. "I want to become stronger. I want to prove myself. I can't let the sect be humiliated." With this belief, Xiao Ziji ate 1 meal a day, slept for 1 hour, and spent the rest of the time in the training room. Jun Changshao spent another 40 contribution points to buy 2 muscle building rooms. After Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma finished cultivating in the spirit energy formation, they began to build their muscles. The 3 of them also ate 1 meal a day, slept for 2 hours, and spent the rest of the time in the spirit energy formation and the other in the muscle building room. Lu Qianqian didn't enter the training room. She sat cross-legged in the formation to absorb spirit energy. The 5 disciples' devil training officially began. It lasted until the eve of the sect tournament. Liang City. While the disciples were undergoing their devil training, Jun Changshao rushed over. At the southern practice field, where the tournament will be held a few days later, a few scattered sect elders gathered around a table, reporting their sect's name and participating disciples. "Next!" The middle-aged man holding the brush called out. Jun Changshao walked over. The middle-aged man didn't raise his head. He dipped his brush in ink and said, "Sect. Iron Bone Jing Sect." Gah! The middle-aged man's hand holding the brush suddenly stiffened. He raised his head in surprise. The sect elders who had already signed up stopped and turned to look at Jun Changshao in disbelief. Iron Bone? Isn't it just a 9th-rate sect from Qingyang village? The sect tournament is held every 2 years. The participants are all 8th-rate sects and above. Why is Iron Bone here? Chapter 62. When Jun Changshao mentioned his sect, the surrounding martial artists all looked at him and whispered, their words full of disdain. This was normal. In every sect competition, the participants were all 8th-rate and above sections. For a 9th-rate sect to sign up was a bit outrageous. Sigh. Jun Changshao sighed. He did not think that he was born with a mocking face, but the falling star continent believed in martial arts was too cruel. In the ancient times of the world, people were divided into 3, 6, and 9 classes. Servants and slaves were often regarded as lowly people, and they would definitely be scolded to death if they entered large places. Although Iron Bone was a sect, it was only a 9th-rate sect. In a world full of sects, it was not much different from a lowly person. Just wait. I will let my sect become the most dazzling existence in the falling star continent, and let all living beings worship it. Jun Changshao did not care about the eyes of the world, but he would work hard to walk the path of a stronger sect. The middle-aged man holding the brush said lightly, although the sect competition does not limit the level, the applicants must be the upper echelons of the sect. What trouble are you, a disciple, causing? Jun Changshao pressed the sect master seal on the white paper on the table, saying, Iron Bone Sect Master, Jun Changshao. He was very arrogant. Others can look down on him, but he cannot look down on himself. The middle-aged man glanced at the seal on the paper, and said indifferently, so it is Sect Master Jun, sorry for the disrespect. He is the sect master of Iron Bone in Qingyang City who instructed the elders of Tsang Mountain Sect. I didn't expect him to be so young. I heard that his cultivation is only at the 4th or 5th level of the channel opening, but he cut off the arm of the Spirit Spring sect elder who was at the 12th level of the channel opening. I also heard about it, but I always felt that it was a rumor. How can a 4th or 5th level of the channel opening seriously injure a 12th level of the channel opening? The martial artists of Liang City had also heard about what happened at the 100 sect recruitment, but they did not witness it with their own eyes, so they only treated it as a rumor. Jun Changshao ignored the crowd and said, since there's no rule that the 9th-rate sects can't participate, why are you in a daze? Hurry up and ask. Fill in the form. Are you sitting here to drink tea? The middle-aged man's face immediately darkened, but he still had to do his job, so he suppressed his anger and asked, how many disciples are participating? 5 people. Name, age. Lu Qianqian is 16 years old, Li Qingyang is 17 years old, Su Xiaoma is 16 years old, Tian Shiqi is 18 years old, Xiao Ziji is 17 years old. The middle-aged man was stunned and asked, who was the last one? Xiao Ziji, Jun Changshao repeated. Xiao Ziji. A cultivator standing in the distance said with a smile, could it be the trash expelled by the Xiao clan? Shua. Jun Changshao turned his head and said coldly, try saying that again. His eyes were very cold. When the cultivator looked at him, he immediately stopped smiling and took a few steps back. The hair on his back stood up. The middle-aged man said indifferently, the former direct descendant of the Xiao clan, Xiao Ziji. Please remove the direct descendant of the Xiao clan. My disciple is not rare at all. Jun Changshao said. The former genius, who brought countless honor to the family, was expelled at the age of 12 because of the regression of his cultivation. Such a family, Jun Changshao felt that Xiao Ziji was not worthy. He could only use 2 words to describe it: poo. The middle-aged man understood and filled in the names of several people. He threw 5 bamboo plates and said, on the day of the competition, you must let the disciple bring the identity token to the venue, otherwise it will be considered as forfeiting. Jun Changshao took the bamboo plates and turned to leave. However, he stopped in front of the cultivator and said gloomily, if you dare to say that my disciple is trash again, next time I will let you roar. This fellow suddenly let out a strange cry, which scared the cultivator to the point that he fell to the ground. TSK Jun Changshao said disdainfully, you are already scared, and you still have the nerve to call others trash. Damn it! That cultivator was ashamed and angry, but he did not have the courage to rush up. Firstly, fighting was prohibited in the city. Secondly, this fellow's gaze was a little scary. Jun Changshao left. However, not long after he left, the cultivators at the registration venue began to talk. The Xiao Ziji that fellow mentioned must be the Xiao clan's Xiao Ziji. It seems that Trash joined the Iron Bone after being expelled. If his talent and cultivation were still there, not to mention fourth or fifth-rate sects, even second or third-rate sects would fight for him. Unfortunately, he can only eat and wait for death in a ninth-rate sect. I wonder how the Xiao clan will feel when they hear that the expelled direct descendant joined a sect lower than the Xiao clan. Liang City, Xiao clan. It could be considered an old clan with a few hundred years of history. In terms of overall strength and industry, it was much stronger than Qingyang City's Li clan. On this day, the Xiao clan's grand elder walked into the hall angrily. The Xiao clan's patriarch, who was sitting at the head of the table, put down his teacup and smiled. "Grand elder, what's wrong?" The grand elder said angrily, "I just heard from outside that the expelled Trash joined the Iron Bone and even signed up for the sect's martial arts competition." Oh? The Xiao clan's patriarch was surprised. The grand elder was so angry that he almost slammed the table. "My Xiao clan has been in Liang City for more than 200 years. In terms of foundation, we are not inferior to an 8th-rate sect. That Trash joining a 9th-rate sect, isn't he deliberately throwing our Xiao clan's face?" The Xiao clan's patriarch drank a mouthful of tea and said, "He has already been expelled. Even if he becomes a beggar, it has nothing to do with our Xiao clan. There is no need to consider so much." That's true. But some families with ulterior motives in the city purposely spread the news, wanting the entire city to see our Xiao clan as a joke. I have already advised the patriarch to give that Trash a cup of poisonous wine and let him reunite with his parents in the underworld. But the patriarch only expelled him. From the grand elder's words, it wasn't hard to tell that he was venting all his anger on Xiao Ziji. The Xiao clan's patriarch put down his teacup and played with his thumb ring, smiling. "Isn't it easy to let a Trash die? In my opinion, there is no need for the grand elder to be so angry." Xiao clan's inner court. "Have you heard? Xiao Ziji, that Trash, joined the Iron Bone and signed up for the sect's martial arts competition. He will be coming to Liang City in a few days." It can't be. He has no spirit root and no cultivation and still dares to come to Liang City. The sect that the cousins are in is also participating. Will they meet that Trash? There seems to be a lot of disciples participating in the martial arts competition this time. I think it will be a little difficult for the cousins to meet that Trash. No matter what, we must go and take a look on the day of the martial arts competition. I haven't seen that Trash for a few years. I really miss him a little. Ha ha ha, they want to bully him again, right? The younger generation of the Xiao clan disciples gathered together to discuss Xiao Ziji. Their eyes were full of disdain and contempt. Little did they know that the Trash they kept talking about was currently in the Iron Bone clan's training room, undergoing the cruelest of muscle tempering. Not enough aptitude. Work hard to make it up. Become stronger, become stronger. Late at night, Xiao Ziji circulated the body metamorphose scripture while crazily bombarding the strength testing machine. The sweat on his forehead and the blood on his fists dripped down together. Jun Changshao lay on the roof of the main hall and heard the light sound of punching coming from the training room. He muttered, "Let's vent all the humiliation and torture on the day of the sect's martial arts competition." Chapter 63. In order to become stronger, Xiao Ziji was giving it his all. More importantly, it was not for himself, but for the sect. He wanted to live up to the sect leader's expectations. Lu Qianxian, Li Qingyang, and the rest were not idle either. They spent the entire day either in the formation or in the training room. The Five's craziness stirred up the atmosphere in the sect. Many disciples worked even harder to cultivate. Sometimes, they did not even have time to eat. Could they keep up with the nutrition? If it were other sects, their bodies would have collapsed after a few days of crazy cultivation. However, the Iron Bones sect had Lu Wancher. This golden chef would not let them not keep up with the nutrition. She matched their meals perfectly and nourished their bodies well. Jun Changshao sat in front of the main hall, eating delicious snacks while watching the disciples cultivate. Thanks to your meals. Otherwise, they would have collapsed long ago. Lu Wancher placed her hands behind her back and giggled. Sect leader, this is what Du should do. Jun Changshao swallowed the snack and clapped his hands. After a while, I will accept you into the sect. Really? Yes. Lu Wancher jumped up and down happily. She had always hoped to become a disciple of the Iron-Boned sect and not a golden chef. Ding! Shi Tianhao cut 500 pounds of grass, sect mission completed. Ding! Sect contribution points, 53100. Sect achievement points, 91100. The disciples in the Qingyang village were still completing missions. Their achievement points were close to breaking through 100. There are still 6 missions left. I should be able to complete all of them by tomorrow. Just enough for 100 achievement points. Once the achievement points were maxed out, the sect could be upgraded. Not only could it increase the upper limit of the sect's disciples, but it could also unlock the medicine refinery pavilion. Jun Changshao was looking forward to it. The next day. There were only 8 days left before the sect competition. The 5 disciples were still undergoing the devil's training. Jun Changshao was not idle either. He was constantly cultivating Yi Jing Jing. He had already formed a habit. As long as he was free, he would circulate large and small circulations. His body, blood vessels, and internal organs were all changing subtly. The advancement of martial arts was not something that could be achieved overnight. It required a long time of accumulation to become stronger. Ding! Li Tianwen carried 20 buckets of water and completed the sect's mission. Ding! Sect contribution points, 62100. Sect achievement value, 100,100. It's full. Jun Changshao stopped cultivating and hurriedly opened his stats panel. He saw a upgradable button behind Sect construction, level 1. Be careful. Ding! Sect construction upgraded to level 2. The upper limit of sect members, contribution points, and achievement points has been increased. The sect's medicine refinery pavilion is open. The data panel in front of Jun Changshao changed sect name, Iron Bone Clan. Sect leader, Jun Changshao. Sect rank, 9th rate. Sect construction, level 2. Sect function, medicine refining pavilion. Sect cultivation method, Yi Jing Jing, divine grade early stage. Sect members, 100500. Sect contribution points, 62,500. Sect achievement value, 0/500. Sect mission, none at the moment. Sect main mission, within 100 years, omitted. From the changes in the data, after the sect was upgraded to level 2, the upper limit of sect members, contribution points, and achievement points was increased to 500, and the original achievement value was reset to 0. Sigh. Jun Changshao shook his head and said, even if my contribution points are full, I can't afford to buy the goods in the mid-tier store. The system said, the host's focus should be on the medicine refining pavilion. This is the biggest benefit of upgrading the sect's construction. Makes sense. Jun Changshao had a thought and clicked on the medicine refining pavilion. A brand new panel appeared in front of him. On it was a 3-dimensional pill furnace that was shaped like a gourd. Damn! The corner of his mouth twitched. Is this a pill furnace? It looks like a projection. Under the pill furnace, there were 4 types of pills. Jun Changshao was stunned when he saw the first one, because the words, beginner-grade healing pill, were written on it. Damn, isn't this a pill from the store? The system said, the pills sold in the store can be refined in the medicine refining pavilion. That's good. Jun Changshao was overjoyed. Although the beginner-grade healing pill in the store was very effective, there was a time limit. If he could refine it, he wouldn't have to spend any contribution points and wait. How do I refine it? Click on the pill you want to refine. Jun Changshao clicked on the beginner-grade healing pill, and a small panel popped up. Pill, beginner grade healing pill. Effect, meridian opening, martial disciple, martial master, martial disciple, martial master. As long as they still have a breath, they will recover quickly. Ingredients, green leaf grass 0/3, red lotus leaf 0/3, earth spirit fruit 0/1 fire seed. None. The last button was the refine button, but it was gray, so it couldn't be refined. Jun Changshao said, I know what ingredients mean, but what the hell is a fire seed? The system said, in the falling star continent, only fire seeds can be refined. So, the host not only needs the ingredients, but also the fire seed. Where can I get a fire seed? Jun Changshao asked. The system said, there are many powerful fire seeds scattered around the falling star continent. The host can find them or buy them directly from the store. I have to take care of the sect, so I don't have time to find them. I'll definitely buy them from the store. Jun Changshao muttered. The system said, in view of the host upgrading the sect to level 2, a fire seed will be sent. Please check the purchased items. You should have said so earlier. Jun Changshao hurriedly opened the purchased items store. The original grid showed a flame with the words, exquisite fire seed, priced at 50 contribution points. It's so expensive. Jun Changshao's eyes widened. He only had 62 contribution points now. If he bought the exquisite fire seed, it would be the same as hitting rock bottom. The system said, with the fire seed, you can refine pills. The host is recommended to buy 5 stars. 5 stars again. Although Jun Changshao rolled his eyes, he knew that the system's recommendations were usually good. But he still didn't buy it. It wasn't that he was distressed about the contribution points, but that the sect competition was about to start. He wanted to save it for emergencies. What's more, the purchased items wouldn't disappear. He could buy them at any time. Jun Changshao looked at the other 3 pills. One of them was called Body Shaping Pill. As the name implied, it was used to strengthen the body. The second one was called Qi Gathering Pill. It was exactly the same as the one bought from the store, but it had more ingredients than the healing pill. The third one was even more awesome. It was called Qi Whirlpool Pill. When consumed by a level 12 meridian opening martial artist, it could increase the success rate of condensing Qi Whirlpool by 50%. If it weren't for the fact that his contribution points were too low, Jun Changshao would have bought the exquisite fire seed and looked for the ingredients to refine the pill. Ding! Side mission activated. Jun Changshao, who was worried about the lack of contribution points, heard the notification and hurriedly returned to the front page of the status panel. Side mission deal with the assassin who tried to assassinate the host 03, elite mission. Shwa! Jun Changshao jumped up from his seat. With one hand on the desert eagle at his waist, he looked around and said vigilantly, there's an assassin who wants to assassinate me? Just at this moment, he noticed a trace of dust floating in front of his eyes. He hurriedly looked up and his eyes widened. Pang! A loud explosion came from the main hull. The disciples cultivating outside were so shocked that they almost fell to the ground. Chapter 64. A hole of about 10 centimeters was punched through the roof of the main hull. Tiles fell down, and dust splashed everywhere. The 2 black-clothed men hiding on the roof beam, waiting for an opportunity to attack, only had their exposed eyes flickering with shock. Their other companion was attacking from above. They should have been determined to win, but they didn't expect that the other party would suddenly raise his head and raise the shiny silver object in his hand. With a bang, a stream of light shot out. The stream of light was so fast that the 2 simply couldn't see what it was. Then, they saw that their companion's chest was pierced, and the light followed the momentum and blasted toward the roof. Plop! The black-clothed man who was shot fell to the ground, blood flowing out. A cold song was sent to him. Ding! Eliminate the assassin hiding in the dark to assassinate the host 13, elite mission. Jun Changshao turned his arm and aimed the muzzle at the other black-clothed man on the roof beam. He said coldly, "You dare to assassinate this lord, your guts are really not small." With a gun in hand, he really was safe and worry-free. Swish! The black-clothed man who was targeted hurriedly dodged to the other side, murderous intent in his eyes. As he moved, several concealed weapons appeared in his hands out of thin air. Jun Changshao directly swung his gun, his finger pulling the trigger. Boom! The muzzle sprayed out bullets again, penetrating the man's head at an extremely fast speed. A hole was punched in the roof again, and the man also fell to the ground with a loud bang. Ding! Eliminate the assassin hiding in the dark to assassinate the host 23, Elite Mission. Swish! Jun Changshao turned his body and aimed the muzzle at the third assassin. He said indifferently, "If you think you can be faster than my concealed weapons, why don't you try moving?" The black-clothed man who was about to attack stiffened, and the shock in his eyes became increasingly intense. The first companion rushed down and was killed by a concealed weapon, which could be attributed to carelessness. However, the second companion was directly killed while moving, which made one's scalp go numb. Swish! Swish! Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang rushed into the main hall from the spiritual power array. They first saw two black-clothed men lying in pools of blood. Then, following the muzzle of the sect master's gun, they saw the third black-clothed man on the roof beam. This was an assassin. An assassin was like a venomous snake hiding in the dark, always spying on its target. Once it seized the opportunity, it would suddenly jump out and bite. Appearing and disappearing unpredictably, like a ghost, was the common understanding of assassins. However, the black-clothed man standing on the roof beam was undoubtedly an insult to the mysterious profession of assassin. This was because a group of disciples were discussing him in the hall below. So this is an assassin? Wearing black in broad daylight, aren't you afraid of being eye-catching? From the looks of it, he should be a martial disciple. Everyone discussed while looking at the assassin. It was like watching a monkey in a zoo. The blood in the black-clothed man's body was boiling, and there was a possibility that it would spurt out from his throat. However, he didn't dare to move because the silver hidden weapon was still locked onto him. The Iron Bone disciples were all present, and they had sealed off the entrance. Even if there were no guns, it would be impossible to escape. If word got out that an assassin had done what he did, it would be a disgrace to his peers. Jun Changshao sat down and crossed his legs. Is it cool up there? Why aren't you jumping down? The black-clothed man could only jump down from the roof beam. Jun Changshao said, "Throw out the hidden weapons from your sleeves, put your hands on your head, and squat on the ground." Ding-dang. A few pentagonal hidden weapons were thrown out, and the black-clothed man obediently squatted down with his hands on his head. Shwa! Li Qingyang walked over with large strides, the cold-edged sword pressed against his neck. The assassin had already been subdued, but sect leader Jun still raised his arm like a gun. It wasn't because he was too cautious, but because after firing 2 shots, the muscles in his arm had stiffened again. The first time he fired a shot, he was knocked back 3 to 5 meters by the recoil. Now, after firing 2 shots, he could stabilize his body. This was a huge improvement. What a joke. After being tempered in the body molding machine for so long, it wasn't for nothing. Ding! Eliminate the assassin hiding in the dark to assassinate the host 33 Elite Mission. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission. You have received 30 Sect contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 92500. When Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma used a thick rope to tie the assassin into a dumpling, the side mission was completed. The so-called solution can be to kill, to injure, or to capture. Jun Changshao pursed his lips, secretly saying, giving 30 points, not bad, not bad. Sect leader, what do we do with this assassin? Li Qingyang asked. Jun Changshao walked in front of the assassin and removed the black cloth, revealing a middle-aged man with a square face. He said, "Speak, who sent you to kill me?" The first rule of an assassin is to not reveal the identity of the employer. The assassin clenched his teeth. Jun Changshao squatted down and said, "Actually, even if you don't say it, I know that the one who sent you to kill me must be the Spirit Spring Sect." A strange look flashed through the assassin's eyes, but it was easily concealed. Jun Changshao caught it and got the answer he wanted. He stood up and said, "Seal his meridians and lock him up." Yes. Tian Qi and Su Xiaoma took the assassin and left. The disciples retreated one after another. On the way, they were all discussing the explosion just now, regretting that they didn't see the shooting with their own eyes. Jun Changshao sat on a wooden chair, secretly saying, "No wonder there was no movement, so they spent money to hire an assassin to kill me." The city lord killed Wei Yile and Su Xiaoma, so he knew that his relationship with the Spirit Spring Sect was like fire and water, but he didn't think that the other side would play such a trick. "First you paid the bandits to kidnap my disciple, and now you hire an assassin to assassinate me. Your dirty tricks are really endless." Jun Changshao's eyes gradually filled with killing intent. If it was just ridicule, he could turn a deaf ear. But if they wanted to kill him again and again, it would offend his principle. "If people offend me, I will definitely retaliate. The sect competition is over, I must return the favor and let them know that I can't be offended." Jun Changshao made a decision in his heart. Opening the purchased items on the data panel, he clicked on the exquisite fire. Ding! Host spent 50 contribution points to obtain the best quality fire seed, Exquisite Fire X1. It has been transferred into the spatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 42500. Schwa! Inside the spatial ring, Jun Changshao pinched his finger and a flame appeared. This was the exquisite fire. Because he bought it from the store, it was easy to fuse with it. With the fire seed, he could be considered a fire-type martial artist, and with the support of spirit energy, he could form the power of fire. Now that he had the flame, he must refine pills. Jun Changshao gave 2 disciples 1,000 silver notes and ordered them to go to Qingyang City to purchase 4 kinds of pills and herbs, while he continued to cultivate in the sect. At dusk, the disciples returned from the purchase. Although they brought a lot of herbs, it was only enough for 5 kinds of beginner healing pills and 2 kinds of beginner body shaping pills. The Qi gathering pill and Qi revolving pill were far from enough. Jun Changshao didn't dwell on this and pulled out the alchemy pavilion to start refining pills. In the detailed introduction of the pills, the herbs were automatically matched, the exquisite fire was automatically matched, and the refining button was also bright. Click. The refining began. Ding! 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 30 minutes later, 5 healing pills and 2 body-shaping pills appeared in the spatial ring. Jun Changshao said, "The main characters in novels usually need 1 or 2 chapters to describe how difficult it is to refine pills. I didn't expect to succeed so easily in the system's alchemy pavilion." The healing pills were temporarily useless, so he stored them in the pill bottle and swallowed a body-shaping pill. The pill took effect, and his meridians, blood vessels, and muscles suddenly changed. Pang! Jun Changshao punched the strength testing machine, and it showed a value of 2,200 gene. After opening 12 meridians, his tested strength was 2,000 gene. After eating the body-shaping pill, it was equivalent to an increase of 200 gene. Creak! At this moment, Xiao Ziji slid out of the forging room like a pile of mud. Jun Changshao walked over, opened his mouth, and threw the remaining forging pill into his mouth. He muttered, "This disciple of yours really made me put in a lot of effort." 6 days later, Li Qingyang and the other 4 disciples finished their devil training and stood on the training field, ready to go. Jun Changshao, who was dressed in white, walked out of the main hall and said loudly, "I only have one request for going to Liang City to participate in the sect competition this time, and that is to take all the top 5 places." Yes! Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and the other 3 shouted in unison. Jun Changshao snapped his fingers and led them out of the door under the gazes of many disciples. They took the first step of the Iron Bone clan's fame in the Falling Star continent. Chapter 65. Jun Changshao brought his disciples to Liang City after ending their devil training ahead of time. The main reason was to give them time to rest and adjust their condition to face the upcoming sect competition. Qian. On the way, Jun Changshao said, I saw that you've been cultivating in the array formation for the past few days. How's your strength improving? Lu Qian said indifferently, it's all right. Used to this woman's indifference, Jun Changshao stopped asking for a snub. He looked at Xiao Ziji, who had been following with his head lowered. This guy must be thinking about how to face the people in Liang City and how to face the Xiao family that he might encounter at any time. I've sinned. Jun Changshao walked over and patted him on the shoulder. If you're a man, you should face everything bravely. Xiao Ziji took a deep breath. His dark eyes flashed with determination. They walked all the way and finally arrived at the gate of Liang City at dusk. However, before they entered, the martial artists coming in and out cast their gazes and locked onto Xiao Ziji. Isn't this the trash from the Xiao family? He really came to participate in the sect competition. I thought it was a rumor. I didn't expect it to be true. Tsk, without a spirit root and cultivation, such trash dares to participate in the competition. Isn't he afraid of being tortured to death? Hearing the crowd's ridicule and private discussions, Xiao Ziji clenched his fists and lowered his head. Xiao Mu, Jun Changshao said. Su Xiaoma said, here. Jun Changshao pointed at the two martial artists who called them trash and said, someone humiliated your junior brother. What should you do? Su Xiaoma understood and dashed over like a rabbit. She leaped into the air halfway and kicked the martial artist on her left, sending him flying. Swoosh! His body turned around, and with a tap of his toes, he dashed out again, sweeping his leg across the other warrior's face. Plop! Plop! At the same time, the two beaten martial artists fell to the ground. One charge, one stop, and one charge again. He attacked at different times and took down two people at the same time. It could be said to be clean and efficient without any sloppiness. Su Xiaoma landed steadily on the ground and clapped his hands. Shitty is like a brother. Humiliating him is the same as humiliating me. Not bad, Jun Changshao said with satisfaction. Li Qingyang whispered, Sect leader, this is Liang City. Isn't it a little inappropriate to fight here? Jun Changshao said, we're not in the city. It's not against the law to fight. That makes sense, Li Qingyang said. Why didn't he think of that? If he had known earlier, he would have made a move first. The two martial artists who had been kicked away covered their faces with footprints as they stood up. Although their eyes were filled with anger, they did not dare to say anything. They were city dwellers, but they didn't have much power. They had to pay the price for their foul mouths. Jun Changshao glanced at the two of them and said indifferently, if you dare to humiliate my iron bone disciples behind my back again, I will make sure you won't live to see the sun tomorrow. With a wave of his sleeve, he led his disciples into the city. On the way, Xiao Ziji's clenched fists gradually loosened. Sect leader, shitty, thank you. Su Xiaoma leaned over and put his hand on his shoulder. He grinned and said, we're all from the same sect. Don't be so polite. Xiao Ziji smiled. Since he was registered for the sect's martial arts competition, this was the first time he smiled. His smile was very bright. It doesn't matter if the people of Liang City look down on me. I have the sect leader and a group of shitty. They have never despised me. That's enough. After passing through the dark city gate, when the sun appeared in his field of vision, Xiao Ziji's innate decadence and the haze in his heart weakened a lot. That short teenager's movement technique is so fast. When he attacked, he didn't use any spiritual power at all. It shouldn't be so fast. Is that person an Iron Bone disciple? In my opinion, he might be the top disciple in the sect. Could he be the #1 genius of Qingyang City? Yes, the genius of Qingyang City joined Iron Bone. If it's him, it's understandable. When Jun Changshao brought his disciples into the city, the warriors at the city gate discussed heatedly. They mistook Su Xiaoma for Li Qingyang, the number one genius of Qingyang City. Among the group of people who came from the official road, a teenager in a gray robe smiled and said, "I hope we can meet in the competition." The old man next to him said, "That kid's movement technique is vigorous. His strength must be extraordinary. If you meet him in the sect's martial arts competition, don't underestimate him." I know. The teenager called answered impatiently. "Elder, that iron bone only has one disciple, Li Qingyang. How much courage does it take to send a disciple to participate in the competition?" A teenager joked. The old man was more cautious. He said in a deep voice, "Since he dares to participate in the sect's martial arts competition, he must be capable. If you meet that kid just now, you must be very serious." "Yes," several disciples said. However, these people didn't know that the short guy called Su Xiaoma was not the number one genius of Qingyang City. The sect's martial arts competition would be held the day after tomorrow. Jun Changshao brought 5 disciples to find an inn to stay. However, because of Xiao Ziji, they attracted a lot of attention on the street. The words trash and direct descendant of the Xiao family were often on the lips of the people who were talking about them. Some warriors even had strong disdain and contempt in their eyes. "I've sinned," Jun Changshao said. "Don't care about their eyes, because they are just a group of dogs following the trend. When they see your strength, they will wag their tails and kneel down and lick your feet." Xiao Ziji said firmly, "Sect Master, I will use my strength to make them kneel down and lick your feet." "Sect Master, junior brother, don't insult dogs," Su Xiaoma said. Jun Changshao said, "Dogs guard the house and are loyal. They are good friends of us humans. They should not be insulted." The warriors who were talking behind them heard this, and their eyes suddenly flashed with anger. Su Xiaoma glanced at them and said with a smile, "Sect Master, this disciple likes it when some people don't like me, but can't kill me. They look as if they have eaten a fly." Jun Changshao said, "They must have eaten shit." Su Xiaomo really didn't understand. Li Qingyang also didn't understand, but judging from the sect master's tone, shit was certainly not a good thing. Jun Changshao and Su Xiaomo echoed each other, and the warriors who had repeatedly said that Xiao Ziji was trash became angry. However, the city had a rule that prohibited private fighting. Fortunately, there were rules. Otherwise, with sect master Jun's temper, he would have already led his disciples to beat them up. Soon, the group stopped in front of an inn. They were just about to enter when a yo-yo sound came from behind. They saw a man in embroidered clothes surrounded by servants coming over. "Bei Wen." Xiao Ziji's eyes became gloomy. "Bei Wen." Jun Changshao's mouth twitched as he said, "Isn't that the same as the AI family's AI Shua's name?" The youth called Bei Wen swaggered over and said, "Yo-yo, isn't this the Azure Sun County's rare genius? I haven't seen you for a few years, but you've become even more impressive. Sect Master, let's go in." Li Qingyang was too lazy to pay attention to him. Bei Wen said, "Yo-yo, old acquaintances are meeting. Aren't you going to say a few words before leaving?" Su Xiaoma scratched his head and said, "Sect Master, this person has been yo-yo non-stop. Is he sick?" Jun Changshao said, "Perhaps." As he spoke, he led the 5 disciples into the inn. Bei Li, who was standing outside, said, "Great prodigy Xiao, this young master is also participating in the sect's competition. If we meet at that time, we must have a good spar." "Who is that person?" Jun Changshao asked. Xiao Ziji said, "He's a direct descendant of the Bei family. 5 years ago, he took liberties with a girl in broad daylight. I beat him up." Jun Changshao rubbed his nose and said, "Hearing that fart catchphrase makes me annoyed. If we meet in the sect's competition, beat him to death. Beat him so badly that even his parents won't let him out." "Yes."